Hello there, everyone. My name is Waba, and what you're about to watch is Mental Health Monday. It's a podcast that I do every single week live on Twitch, link in the description below. We talk with 1 to 2 guests, sometimes 3, on a topic of the month, and purely I'm just asking them about their experience with this topic. Either they have personally gone through this or they have dealt with it in some manner in a personal way. The purpose of these talks is to bring education to others and to bring awareness to these issues, and that mental health is real, mental health matters, it's okay to not be okay, and more to the point, it's okay to talk about it, and it's okay to reach out for help. There's a lot that goes into Mental Health Monday. It's very intentional, and we have a bit of a check-in usually before the talks. In addition, I myself am trained as a mental health counselor. I have a master's in mental health counseling. Now, I never, ever will claim that I am anyone's therapist online. I'm a mental health advocate, and I will share resources to the day I die. But as far as help goes, I highly encourage anyone out there to seek your own help. I have resources both on my Twitch page, but also in my Discord under resources, and highly encourage anyone to seek professional help if you are struggling with something that the people on my podcast are talking about with their experiences. In addition, they're raw, uncut, and unscripted. I usually have a few questions to kind of structure it a little bit, but we might go off the rails sometimes, have some casual conversations. Other questions might be asked, delving into details. All things considered, I put a content warning out there at the beginning of my talks usually, right before we jump into them. And it's just to say, hey, show some respect, towards the guests and their stories, first of all, obviously. But more importantly, if a topic comes up that might be potentially triggering, feel free to click off the video, feel free, to click off the stream, during the stream, or mute the tab, whatever, come back when you feel comfortable. I don't wish to trigger anyone, but I want these talks to be as unrestricted as possible so that folks can tell their story in their best words. Your discretion is advised, depending on the nature of the subject. So with that out of the way, I just want to welcome you into this video. Feel free to skip ahead as well. I'll put a timestamp in the description. And with that, enjoy Mental Health Monday and welcome into the Waba fam, your mental health talk place and queer safe space. Take care. Yeah, Hello? Hold on. Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
I have a midnight.
Hello? You have a midnight?
Yeah, he's right here.
Good lord, you're all terribly low. Time to check my volume settings.
Okay, let me pull my mic a little closer. Oh, is that better?
Oh shit, I am not ready.
Glorious?
Everything is everywhere.
Yeah, OBS tells me that there's 2 audios going on. There's the actual video audio, and then there's the desktop audio. And for some reason, Stream only gets the desktop audio. But I swear, when I download it later, it's like, I swear I can hear double.
It does sound like a little glitchy, like on the edges of like you're talking, but it doesn't sound doubling.
I have no
That's
idea.
one thing I've noticed.
Okay, I know it glitches a little bit because
Yeah.
I don't know why. Drac! The heck? Thank you for the tier 1 for 3 months. And also thank you for reminding me to mute my alerts.
As always.
Happens always every time.
Every time.
I will warn in advance that if my screen goes black, it's not because my camera died, it's because this rat.
Kitty.
Oh my god, I can barely see him.
He's a very dark boy. He's a void.
Hello, Void Boy.
Literally.
Pan, are you here?
I'm here. Do you hear me?
I do hear you. Oh my god. Also, I love your collar.
Thank you. It took like 9 goddamn months to get to me.
Wait, what?
No, it's fine. It's the I really like the artist that I got it from, and then they had like a bunch of life stuff happen, and they like weren't updating me, and I'm like, it was a lot of money. Can I just have it? Can I just have it, please?
Please.
Please send. But it's fine. I got it eventually.
No toys for you.
No. I'm like, this is my serotonin. It depends on this package.
How dare you ask for serotonin?
How dare.
Serotonin's never heard of her. Anyway, welcome in, everyone. This is a jam-packed one. So I got 4 hours to talk about gay shit to you. Probably
Hell
not.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right, my fellow gaylords, please introduce yourself counterclockwise, starting with Ribbon.
Hi, I'm Ribbon. Non-binary. I use they, them pronouns. I'm ace, pan, bi, gender, I can't words. Hi. I just basically can't make decisions to save my life, and I don't know what to call myself.
It's the curse of the bi-pansexual.
I'm literally like, I can't decide. I'm both, sure. And
Why
as
not?
you can see, we have the gay pride KK slider.
It's super pride. KK slider, I love it.
Gay slider.
Yeah, exactly. You could like tie-dye him probably because he's all white. You can make him.
Yeah, but he's so cute.
I know.
I just
It's
put
kind of the
flags
opposite
there.
of your cat.
Flags that I stole from college. I didn't know I was stealing them. I thought they were free handouts.
Oh my god. GB.
Hi, I'm GloryBax, also known as Absol, which is my actual name. It's pronouns or any pronouns, I don't really care. I also stream on Twitch a little bit. Artist, kind of, I don't know. Non-binary, kind of, yes. Grey ace. All other types of A-spec. Mostly just gay, to just put it simply. I'm nervous, by the way. I don't do these things often.
You can be nervous.
Yeah, I don't usually have the camera on. I haven't had the camera on in months, so this is a bit nerve-wracking.
You're fine. Thank you for being on, and thank you for being vulnerable with us, because I know it can be a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. Especially since I saw an AG in here earlier. Like, oh dear. Oh no. Oh dear.
Oh lord. Oh yeah, we'll ban AG soon, I'm sure.
No, please don't.
Yeah, I mean, he's going for the world record. He said so himself.
I know he is. Dumbass. He's got no internet right now anyway, so I don't think he'll turn up anyway.
No, he already did.
He did turn. I know. I saw him.
He sent one chat.
He sent like 2, and now he's disappeared again. And I'm actually on the screen now. He's not here. Shame.
AG banned speedrun, no major glitches, world record.
Yeah.
He actually has. Okay, AG is not allowed to talk anymore. He has exactly 420 chats in my stream. That is not a joke. Twitch does not like mobile data. Now I have to ban him.
Now you have to. Just to keep the number.
It's beautiful. And then we have a Pan, a Faye, a Pan, and I don't know.
Yeah, me either. My name is Pan. I'm HoloFractalFairy on most places on the internet, except for like the random ones where that wouldn't fit, because like Twitter's got to be difficult. I'm non-binary. They them pronouns. I'm also team. I don't fucking make decisions. So queer. I'm like, yes. Don't ask me. I'm queer. That I like that a lot. Also a spectrum by Pan. So like my name is Pan, but also I'm Pan. So I'm like meta
Pan.
meta Pan.
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 Is your favorite Pan?
Frying pan. I don't know what else. I do the streams here sometimes. when I'm not fucking depressed or something.
Yeah, I feel like you haven't streamed in a minute, and I'm sad about it.
I know. I'm going back. This winter was not good to my brain. It's fine though. Like it's fine. I just needed a little detox so I can be hype. It's hard, you know? Streaming's hard.
I agree. Streaming is hard. I haven't done it in months either.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I really admire the people like Waba who can do it just like super consistently.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
You fool.
Same.
You fool.
you're
need
no, like you're
consistent
good though.
Maybe like need consistent stream schedule and then instant depression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time I try and do it again, it's just like, nah, I'm not doing it.
Well, you know, I think that fits under the
Woo!
I don't decide anything tree where I'm like, oh, we're gonna do the thing, and then my brain's like, are you?
Are you sure?
You're gonna keep doing the thing? Like, no. Okay.
Sure about that.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I try not... Sound? Hello? Hello? I think it's just you, Ma Bear. Streaming while it's in the spicy sads is rough. Yep, true. Honestly, I think the only reason I'm able to do it consistently is because I did a lot of work mentally for myself, going through grad school and going through undergrad. And my decision to start streaming was basically entirely based upon the fact of I need to make a schedule that will always work with my work schedule. So that's how I made it consistent for myself. And I found, I guess, a pretty okay degree of success, and I'm trying to take it full-time by the year end, but, you know, Twitch is fickle, and so is viewership, so whatever, is what it is. I'm 100% okay with what I can give, and I'm trying not to beat on myself too much for what I can't do, and for what other people do, you know? Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
My fantastic fucking mod team is beautiful, and we love them.
Respect the mods always.
Yes, respect the bots. Or get banned.
Yeah.
You know, that's fun too.
Oh yeah, pull an AG. Why not?
Ban the mods. No,
Ban the mods.
I'm kidding.
Also, Hollow, I just need to inform you that you have been placed inside the Ori streamer bag. You're welcome.
Yes. Excellent.
Ori likes to collect streamers.
Did I already? Oh, shit.
Anyway. Hi.
Yeah.
I'm Waba.
Hi, Waba.
Hi, Waba.
Hi, Waba. I've been Waba for 28 years.
Wow.
Wow. Imagine that.
Pansexual, non-binary, autistic. I don't fucking know. Something. I'm really gay and queer, and there's a lot of words, I'm sure, to describe it.
Oh yeah. So
anyway, so what's gender?
fucking
I don't know.
Fuck if I know.
But yeah, legit.
Alright.
Same answer across the board. Look at that.
Good night,
Gender.
everybody.
Well, I can just pull
Talk
out
over.
my gender and sexuality degree, but like, gender is a social construct.
Wow. What's a
This
social
is the end of my TED
construct?
talk.
Gender's a liquid you put in a vape pen and smoke it, but I don't smoke.
Well, you can also put it in a can of Dr. Pepper and just drink it. You shotgun it? Shotgun Dr. Pepper?
Oh.
Anyway.
I
Shotgun my
mean,
gender.
if you rearrange the letters in Canadia dry, and you're dyslexic
Canadia?
like me, yeah, Canadia, then it spells gender. And if you take all the letters in Canadia dry and ginger ale, you can rearrange it to gender.
Sure.
I like
Why not?
ginger ale.
Yeah, why not?
Gender ale. I can't.
Gender ale.
Gender out. Ginger ale. That's what we got now.
Ori really needs to stop getting their gender fluid all over the couch.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Takes
It's
forever to
this-
get out.
It does.
He's everywhere.
Oh no.
Anyway, so yeah, gender, sexual construct. What's a social construct? What's that? What's that Pokemon?
Fucking society. Fucking, I don't know.
We live in a society.
It's just dumb shit as far as I'm concerned. I really don't care for it. Autistic.
Yeah,
So-
that's so like
Same.
Audi gender is like such a thing. When I first like heard that, I
What
was
is
like,
that?
oh,
Wait, what is that?
that's my brain. So it's not really its own gender, but it's the way that autistic people experience gender is like very different from. Well, I don't know that it's very different. We just are like, what social? And so I think that there's kind of that.
Yeah, I've seen it defined as like it's like a neurogender type of thing, wherein
Yeah.
like it correlates to your neurodivergence and how you see the world and everything.
Because I embrace chaos, I'm going to embrace a completely off the rails question from Drac, who I love. Is it so weird to think about leaving the world? Do you guys think that there's an afterlife? Probably.
Could be.
No.
I'm gonna
I
come
don't
back
think
as a
about it
ghost and haunt
much.
all your asses. All right, and that's a
I think
promise.
I don't really tend to think about it much. Mostly because a lot of the people in my life struggle with mental health issues and depression and the extreme of that end. And it's like, I don't really like to think about that much anymore. So,
I think it's just like it's like rage quitting a video game. Then you just gotta redo it all again. So you just gotta
Wait.
beat the level.
I gotta
Gotta
come
beat
back
the
to
level,
this
man.
life after I've lived it?
apparently.
That'd be wild. I'd rather...
I'd hate that, I think.
Yeah, I'd hate
Exactly.
I wanna
That's
be
why you
dead.
just gotta do it. Just gotta pass. 100% completion only. Else you just stuck
my
doing
God.
it forever.
I'd love to redo it all. See, the problem is, if I redid it all with all my current knowledge, I would have, like, left home so much sooner. I would have found Frankie right away. Like, actually, it's funny. Me and Frankie genuinely have, like, a plan if time travel ever gets invented, to, like, find each other and just, like, say fuck it to our parents and, like, all these high school bitches, pretty much. Because neither of us had good childhood experiences.
Nah, neither did I.
It's like that would be a cute little indie movie.
Yeah,
Somebody
and then
write
you'd
it.
immediately get banned and I'd get canceled for making a film about young romance. So, you know.
What? That's a thing now?
Yeah, why not?
They cancel people for every dumb thing ever at this point.
You can't have kids in media having a romantic relationship. They're kids, right? That never happens.
No, you never get
Yeah, no,
kids
never.
younger than 10 having relationships with other kids their same age. Of course not. No, never.
Kids
Never
aren't allowed to
happens.
have sexuality
Yeah.
Apparently not.
because that's sexualizing children, obviously.
But they can only not have sexuality if it's not straight.
Oh,
There you go.
true.
I see somebody knows the rules. Good job.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess Ribbon paid attention in class. I never did.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of did. I was a teacher's pet, but again, autism.
That's the autism. Give me a
Yeah.
heads up when this movie's released. I'll think about it. It's probably more of a fan fiction right now than it is a movie. It's
Well,
like a
fan
self-fan
fiction can become a movie.
It's true. You understand.
Please.
That's the thing nowadays.
Yeah, it's happened far too many times now.
Movie. Can we have popcorn? Sure, you can have popcorn. Here's a funky question along that actually line of thinking. At what age did you think that you had a gender or a sexuality? This is actually a genuine question because
Yeah, I just don't want to speak over anybody.
Wait, so you're asking like when did we, what age did we first like conceptualize that?
yeah, exactly. So think
See,
of the 8 months.
The issue with being non-binary, and also asexual. Is that, at least in my experience, I didn't really, I see it in retrospect, I could see all the signs that, like, oh, definitely, that's, like, non-binary energy. Like, I totally did not follow the rules. Or, like, with asexuality, like, I was just like, wow, I was completely unfazed. I feel like, specifically for gender, I think I was maybe, like, 4 or 5. Like, I know specifically the one thing that stood out to me that I noticed mostly the reaction of my parents. I think it's just because they didn't understand what was happening, but they were just like, I really liked Pokemon, and I wanted to have Pokemon, but they didn't have a Pokemon game that had a girl in it. And I was just like, well, why does that matter? And my parents were just like, because you have to play as a girl. But then my older sister was allowed to play Pokemon Silver, which only had a boy character. But for me, I had to have Crystal to play the girl.
What?
Or the fact that I was
It's wild.
in ultrasounds, I was assumed male at birth. And so my parents picked out a name. I was supposed to be Garrett. And my first response to finding that was, I could have been Gary from Pokemon. That could have been my name. I could have been Gary.
Who
But
wants to be
oh my
Gary?
god, you
I'm
thought,
sorry.
not like I guess the normal response is like, oh my god, you guys thought I was a boy? No, it was, I could have been Gary. What the heck? This sucks. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, and then for asexuality, I think my parents didn't get mad at it. It was more a teacher got mad at me because in 6th grade we had to make an autobiography for ourselves and had to like make like a future self, like what we see ourselves. And the first sentence I made was, I'm completely content with the idea of dying alone. I don't need a husband. I don't need to get married. I don't need any children.
Sorry, what age was this?
I was like 11.
So you're having an existential crisis.
Some
at
poor
11.
teacher was like,
No. I was completely happy. I was like, I don't need to get married. I don't need kids. I just want to live in a big ass house with a bunch of cats, horses, dogs, rabbits,
Honestly?
and just live my happy single life.
That sounds
That was
great.
what I wanted at 11 years old. And my teacher called my parents. He was like, something's wrong with your kid. Help.
Oh no.
I was like, my dad just cackled.
like
He's like,
so
at least I'm
amazing.
not worried about any secret boyfriends because Kaz is not getting anybody.
that, like, you could put that on a trophy. Like, that's amazing. Good for you. Like,
great.
I'm
and-
proud of 11-year-old you. That's awesome.
All my future pictures
Oh.
of me had purple hair. I was obsessed with getting purple hair. As soon as I found out you could make your hair not blonde or not black or brown, I was like, I need purple hair. And my mom was like, do not get purple hair. Well, as soon as I moved out of my parents' house, they dyed my hair purple, and my family was like, wow, you know what? I'm okay with this. I was like, okay, good. Yeah. Took a very long time. Though a lot of my friends, in recent years, since I've come out to a lot of my friends, they were like, we kind of had an idea. My one friend specifically, she was like, I was not at all surprised when you told me that you were non-binary, because when I found out you were getting a women's gender and sexuality studies degree, I was like, they're gonna find out some shit about themselves for sure. So that was fun to have that kind of a response rather than be like, wow, I'm so shocked that's I'm like struggling with pronouns. No, most of my friends were like, yeah, they fits you much better than she.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. And then for gender stuff, it's just that I don't know. I haven't experienced crushes or anything except for just like I guess a general blanket statement of, eh. So I'm like, pan, sure, yeah. Besides my partner over here, just so happens to be a guy, but then turns out we're still gay. So,
That's just how it goes.
yep.
Haha. Same. My relationship started off heterosexual. Actually, no, my relationship started off fucking gay because I already knew I wasn't straight. I was like, whatever, I'm pan. And Frankie's first words to me were, "Well, I'm a lesbian," and I was like, "Okay." And so I was dating a lesbian. I was a queer dating a lesbian, and then turns out, no, that's not wrong. That's not right. I just hate my body. And it's like, wait, no, that's not quite right either. I'm actually trans male. And I'm like, okay, cool. Love you, babe.
Me and David were similar. It was both of us assumed we were cis straight, one guy, one girl, and then I'm like, nah, I'm definitely ace and pan or whatever. And David's like, yeah, no, I'm definitely bisexual. And I was like, wait a second, what's this coming from the corner? Oh, it's the dysphoria. Oh, yeah, no, I'm not a girl. And then you exist.
Oh,
That's
we need to
about it
talk
for me.
about that. But before that, how about you, GB?
So I first discovered that I was on the A spectrum when I was like 14, 15, right about that age. I was, yeah, when I first became terminally online, because I had the words. I was like, all of my peers at the time were exploring and trying to figure out what they were and what they weren't. And it was like, so all these words that I'd never seen before suddenly come to my attention. I'm like, oh, okay. So that's that, and that does this. And oh, look, there's one. And I had to actually sit and think about it for a while and be like, would I ever? Because I've never really had, at that point, I hadn't really ever had a proper crush on anybody. It was all just kind of like, they're kind of cute, but like, don't really feel like pursuing it. And then also at that point, I really liked Hiro Hamada from Big Hero 6, and that was a huge crush. And I was like, well, I can't just not like anybody because I like fictional person here. So I have to, there has to be some form of attraction there at some point, somewhere. Eventually, I came to it took one of my best mates at the time, actually, just to ask whether I was demi or ace, and I thought about it, and I was like, nah, I'm just straight up ace. So that was like, I think I was like, again, 14, 15, when I was like, yeah, ace. Gender came along much later on. I was 18 when I started to question that, and I remember distinctly lying in my bed with horrible cramps, because unfortunately assigned female at birth, and I had horrible cramps, and I was lying in bed thinking, I don't want this anymore. I don't want these cramps. I don't want to be perceived as female anymore. Little did I know at that point that was dysphoria. And I actually went looking on Tumblr again, which wasn't what I found Ace on in the first place, but still, Tumblr is a good place for queer identities, I guess.
Definitely.
And
to an extent.
Yeah. And I found a micro identity, pardon me, that fit me perfectly. And I was like, oh, well, that's what that is. Because at the time it was like, oh, my gender like moves. Sometimes I'm perfectly fine being female. Other times I just genderless completely. It's like, oh, well, that works. That fits. I'll do that. And that was at, I think, I was 18 or 17. No, it was 18. It was after. Yeah, it was after that. And that, and still to this day, I keep having a gender crisis, because now I'm at the point where I don't know anymore. I just know that it's the whole concept of gender is dumb, and I do not subscribe to it. Pretty much.
Same. I just say I'm queer and leave it at that. It's
easier. I tend to just say I'm non-binary and leave it at that, because like to delve any deeper is to just go get myself confused and get other people around me confused. And it's just like, you know what? If I'm trying to come out to someone and tell them, hey, I'm not cis, it's like, just be simple about it. Don't try and confuse them with all these xenogenders and any kind of pronouns. No, just straight to the point. Non-binary, it's any other pronoun will do, but it's kind of the preferred one, and then just go from there, I guess. My sexuality has evolved over the years as well. No longer straight up ace, I'm more grey ace, as I discovered in the past couple of years. And that was a turn up for the books. That set my brain reeling. I was like, ah, right. So this is the fabled sexual attraction that Aloe's always going on about. Right, okay.
The
Okay then.
fabled sexual attraction.
Yeah, the Aloe's always
The
going.
sexual attraction.
Yeah, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, well, shit. Whoa, that was a weird time. But it's all ironed itself out now at this point, I'm pretty sure.
Give me a second. Okay. On to you. Hello.
So I should have like thought about this ahead of time. I grew up in like a very small town. Well, rather small town. I'm sure there's people in smaller towns, but whatever. And I had super religious parents and was just not being seen as a kid. Being, very autistic and not recognized for that, and ADHD and not recognized for that. So much of my childhood was just performing whatever I was like, you're supposed to do this. And so definitely in retrospect, I'm like, oh, well, that makes a lot more sense with the context about a lot of stuff. But I think that I definitely had a lot of experiences kind of like hyper performing what I thought you were supposed to do as like an AFAB kid. So it's like when there's the times that you're like, oh yeah, like I picked pink everything because I was supposed to, or like, like, is that gender? Like, no, not really. That's not understanding that you're allowed to have preferences as a person, like that. There's so much of that sort of stuff. But I at the same time remember, like, I don't know, I was pretty young, like 5 or something, somewhere under 10, and I was like, had a fucking meltdown at the hairdresser because I was like, I want short hair. And like, I was not allowed to have short, like, because why? Oh my, psycho parents. But so that was like one of the things where I was like, I'm trying to like express my own, gender identity as a kid. And it was very much like, you're not allowed to do this. And I don't think that there was like a million things like that, because like, being an autistic kid, you're just like, the rules that other people put on you can definitely outweigh like the way that you experience your own identity, like the trying to understand the societal pressure as like a child who is non-binary and autistic. You're like, oh yeah, well, you're supposed to do this, so I do this. So there was a lot of that growing up, but I definitely remember, like, I don't know, middle school and high school being like, kind of having, like, when I look back at it now, I'm like, oh, was that like, I'm not like other girls, or was I just non-binary energy? Where I was like, oh yeah, like I feel like not a girl, and like just was like, oh, I'm different. So there was a lot of that kind of energy growing up, but then getting out on my own, the first thing I did was move out of my small ass town, and college is always like a more accepting environment as long as you're around the right kind of people. But I think it's kind of funny, especially for non-cis, non-straight kids, that you just like gravitate towards the other gay people, and when you look back, you're like, oh, that's why I thought they were so fucking awesome, was because I was like, I see you, I want to be like that. So I think that there is a lot of those kind of experiences, but I would say to where I've been more like out and vocal about like, no, like this is a thing that exists for me in my life specifically. Because I think that the difference between kind of like feeling that stuff and trying to honor it without being like, I need other people to honor this for me as well. Like, I need you to see me as this, other than just being like, oh, I feel this way and like on the inside. You know, that I think that was a big like the defining before I was really like out or not, right? So I'd say in the last like 5 years or so, I've been more like, I'm very fucking specifically non-binary. Do not use she, her pronouns for me, please. But you know, it's always been a thing. And I think, you know, very similar stuff sexuality wise, where it was like I grew up in a church, so there was like, oh my god, it was cult level.
Oh god.
Like I would like get yelled at for like holding hands with oh my god, just like so much stuff. And so much of it, you know, it's like, where does the line between just trying to fumble your way through figuring out, even just if you're, you know, just trying to date somebody in that kind of environment is like so toxic and hard.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, the kind of small town expectation crap and seeing so much stuff in like movies and whatever, and like, oh, you're supposed to make out with boys. So that's what I did.
I tried that once. Didn't work out. He was a bad kisser. This is actually true.
I still haven't had my first kiss yet, and I'm 21 years old.
It's alright.
Honestly, you're not missing out on much.
Kissing's okay.
No, really not.
No.
It's a little gross.
Is it?
It is.
Kind of is.
I can't
Depending.
French
Like,
kiss.
you have to like really like
Shit's
like
really
the
gross.
person in order to be like, I'm acceptable sharing saliva.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, there's someone in my life like that, so I think I'm good. It's just a long distance thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You just get
Unfortunately.
really long tongues. Just
You know what's wild to me, actually?
Yeah.
And I think I'll be judged for this, but me and Frankie don't kiss much like on the lips. I give more forehead kisses. And like
Same.
that's seen as like much more intimate than anything else.
Yeah, it's fine. It's like it's what it's your relationship. It's like
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter what anybody else thinks.
I don't know. I just find it odd sometimes. I'm just like I don't think much about it because I'm like okay with that, you know?
Hmm.
I don't know.
It's
This
what
is
you're
what it
okay
is.
with.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mean David and I do kiss, but like it's not like, I don't know. I both of us have mentioned we like the
Twist your
kissing
microphone.
on the forehead, and I just go like all over like his cheeks and stuff. Like,
Can you twist your microphone back to you?
oh, sorry.
It's alright.
I slouch and then I slowly descend into the floor,
Alright, I have a question
and that's
right
how I
now.
get pulled away from the mic.
How many of you are sitting in your chair properly?
Oh, I'm not even sitting on a chair. I'm on my bed. That's
I'm
how.
sitting like in a fetal position. Hi, these are my knees.
I mean, I'm in the chair.
Yeah.
How much?
The
What
chair is
more do
here.
you want? What more do you want?
I'm at
The
least
chair is
sitting up
supporting my
straight.
body. That's all that counts.
At least I'm sitting up somewhat straight. Usually
I'm-
I tend to slouch.
The one struggle of streaming is also realizing that you're completely out of frame of your camera because you're literally playing the game like this.
Yeah.
And no one
Yeah.
can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh guys, this is a great video game. Oh my god, I'm having so much fun. What's that? Oh shit. Hey, how's it going? Welcome. Welcome to Waba ASMR, lays back and does nothing. Yes. Just put the mic in front of my whole face. There we go. Perfect.
Brilliant.
This is a stream.
The professional streamer way to make sure you get your mic in perfect crisp quality.
Good lord. Gotta hit that every so often as well, just to wake up my chat. Hey! Wake up! I'm still here? Good lord, Ori, that's awful. Sitting on a chair, right? No, thank you. Good lord.
Sitting on a chair correctly? No, I'm not straight.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
how do you-
gay.
I love the bisexual chair. Have you guys
Yeah.
seen that?
I want it.
Wait, there's a
I haven't
bisexual
seen
chair?
it.
It's a chair that's there's a couple different ones, but there's one that was like a dad, his daughter came out as bisexual, and he noticed that she sits really weird. So he made a chair so that she is properly like
You can
propped up like while sitting, because she sits like kind of like this kind of position with like one knee up. So she has like a little stand underneath her chair so that her
Oh, I've
foot
seen
doesn't
those,
fall
yes.
asleep.
I want it.
And then the other one I've seen is one that it's like an office chair, but it's completely like transformable so that it turns like lays flat so you can lay on your stomach, or like you can flip it and then you'll have like props on your feet so you can sit like almost like this position with your knees down here and like sitting like on your butt on your feet. I don't know how to describe it,
The
but like they
kneeling
make like a
chairs
whole
are
bunch.
pretty good.
Yeah.
That have like the little zigzag thing, so you like sit on it
Yeah.
and you have that. But I don't like it 24/7. I had one at an office, and like I'd still need my other chair like within reach, because I'd be like, okay, gotta switch chairs now. No
Yeah.
longer like kneeling chair.
Oh god.
I have fucked up knees, so I'm always sitting weirdly because my knees are always fucked up. Don't have a
probably
choice in the matter.
Good lord.
I probably have fucked up knees, and me sitting weirdly does not help them. My
Yeah.
knee, like right now, my one thigh just like
I really need to get a new chair that I'm able to like sit stupidly in, because this chair is just awfully broken, so I can like do this shit with it, you know? It's not supposed to go this way.
Yeah.
Let's talk about heteronormativity, because that shit's toxic.
Oh god.
I don't know. The comment Drac made before of they wish that they could be bi or pan because they just can't with boys, and they think that like gay relationships look so much healthier. There's a reason for that.
Yeah, because straight people have really weird concepts about relationships and sexuality and how it should work. And it's just like, you're doing it all wrong. It's all presented in media as well. It's like, this is all wrong. You shouldn't be doing this kind of shit. You shouldn't be presenting it as okay as the done thing, and yet they always do. So it's just like, fucking grow a brain, please. I don't know.
I feel like there's a lot of attention, especially on the way people communicate to one another. I think that is probably the biggest
Yeah.
offending type ish that I see. Hold on a second.
Oh god.
Everyone say hello to Sticky.
Hi, Sticky. Oh my goodness.
he's sick.
Aww.
Oh, he's a kitty.
Oh,
The baby says hi.
he said hi. Oh, he's so
Hello.
cute.
It's Stinky.
Stinky.
Everyone's saying Stinky.
Stinky Sticky.
Stinky, sticky. Sticky, stinky.
Do you have anything to say, Sticky? Yeah?
Give chicken, please.
Okay. Anything else to add?
I love you. That's the look of pure love and trust. The fact that your cat is not like hissing, screeching, attacking you right now.
Well, he's sitting in front of Pan, so I can't see them anymore.
Oh no.
It's okay. I'll just replace me.
I can see just your blue hair, so now my cat has a tiny little blue floof.
Can we make them a little blue wig? Can we?
I don't know if Sticky would wear a wig.
Whenever I cut my hair, I'm just gonna send you a pile of it, and you can just. Push it on their head.
This sounds really creepy, but alright, bet. Here, I'll take a picture. Lasts longer. I'll put this in the Discord.
I'm checking the Discord now. Ah, is cute.
Yeah. This isn't even our cat. This isn't even our cat. This is Jen's cat, so. You're not my cat. Also, my Discord messed up, and I'm sorry about that.
What happened?
Mama Bear can't fucking assign roles to people, and I don't know why.
Ah.
That's annoying.
Yeah, it's weird. Anyway,
Oh.
anyone have trouble with Discord mobile? With that shit?
I don't really mod a lot from mobile, so I don't know.
Comes to the window, eats our food. Yep. Half the time on the couch for one reason or another. It's just so toxic because the first thing we got rid of because it just made our relationship worse.
Ouch.
Ouch. Couch? Couch?
All I saw was the comment with the word couch in it, and I am confused if they got rid of the couch. Or they got rid of something else. I could read more of the chat and probably find out.
Anyway, heteronormativity, yes.
Yeah.
No, let's not.
Yes.
I mean, can we, who do we talk to about it
Cancel.
not being like that?
Yeah, how do we get rid of that? How do we repeal
get
that
the
law?
cancel. Can we get the cancel culture
Oh,
hate
okay.
mobs on heteronormativity, please?
Yeah, can
Yeah,
we?
please.
Can we? Can we?
Please,
Because
we
it's
just
about
gotta like
Waba.
throw like what do they want to eat? I don't know. Just throw Joe Rogan at it, and then they'll go.
Okay, this is
Go
a
attack
beautiful.
it. That's my plan.
We gotta throw Benny Boy and Joe
Throw Joe
Rogan,
Rogan at it?
and Caitlin Poopy Pants all in one bucket and throw them into the heteronormativity cancel culture hate train mob.
Yep.
What?
Solved.
You just gotta get white Facebook moms really embroiled
Yeah.
by this. And just be like, heteronormativity is killing our children, puppies in school?
Puppies and babies not included.
We must cancel heteronormativity, white Facebook moms.
Yeah.
I mean, technically
But look
speaking,
at the things that look at the heteronormativity that our schools are teaching our children. Like they're brainwashing our kids.
technically speaking, doesn't heteronormativity also like kill people? It kind of feeds into the whole abusive
I mean, it
thing.
literally kills trans and gay people, yes?
Yeah, but it also feeds into the whole like the way I suppose in a straight relationship men are seen to be able to get away with shit, or the other way around, and it's like, yeah, that's kind of abusive in certain
Women are allowed to
circumstances.
emotionally manipulate people, and men are allowed
Yes.
to, I don't know, cheat and hit their women. Fucking, God fucking knows. I don't know. Heteronormativity is the biggest fucking irony fest ever because there's like
It's so
many
stupid.
controversial, fucking words.
Waba words.
Conflicting.
Words with Waba.
Welcome to
The mental
Words
health
with-
segment.
Word of the
Mental health
day
Monday
is-
segment. Words with Waba.
Welcome to Words with Waba, featuring Angry Squid.
Aww. I like him.
It's the angry squid that Frankie got because Frankie's always angry, and I just go pet pet.
Angry
Pet.
kid. Head pat.
Head pats, always
Oh
head pats.
God, yeah. There's another one, just like making trans folk the fucking butt of the joke.
Oh God, it's
Cross-dress,
so
the drag
annoying.
show. The drag show is an embarrassing and make you laugh type-ish thing. That's so fucking awful. So.
Yeah. On one side, my school was very much didn't have any LGBT stuff, and by that I mean there was no LGBT stuff. Sorry, there was one LGBT thing, but it was not really told us that it was an LGBT thing, which
Was
was
it the
like
theater
we
program?
Huh?
Theater program.
Oh well, yeah, we did have a theater program, but like it wasn't like I mean, oh yeah, like most of the people who were in the theater program were gay by the end of it. But in general, like in terms of like our school, like acknowledging LGBT people exist, the only thing was the day of silence. But then that's not even a great thing to be like. This is the one thing we'll acknowledge gay LGBT people for. And then at the same time, it was like they didn't tell us what it was. They just were like, this is a thing that people might participate in, and so you should respect it. And then I had one teacher in my junior year of high school be like, by the way, this is why we're doing this. Like, because she was partaking in it. But she was taking it like very seriously, being like, yo, this is a very serious thing and we shouldn't be like harassing LGBT people because this is what happens. So it was like she was using the message in a very positive way, but in general, like I mean, as I've gotten older, it's like, oh yeah, day of silence not really the best thing to be like the only LGBT thing going on at your school. I know a couple years after I graduated, there was an attempt at a gender sexuality alliance or whatever, or gay straight alliance or whatever. But that went atrociously. Is in the lightest way of putting it.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, there was a
We had a gay
person.
straight alliance, but
It went from what I've heard from someone who was a part of it, who was a couple years younger than me. Basically, it was an attempt to make one, and they basically had one meeting, and then someone who was against LGBT people, another student, came in basically like as like a suit, like just like coming in as like a new member of the club, and then got the list of all the members and found their parents' numbers. So the Gay Straight Alliance was disbanded after that.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah, that was bad.
mean, even
Thankfully,
the phrase-
school
even the
did take
phrase someone
action, and
who
the kid was
against the
suspended
kids.
for 2 weeks because he had football practice.
Only for 2 weeks.
Yeah, our school values sports more than other students' mental well-being.
What the fuck?
He was in football. He couldn't miss football.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, that was it. That was literally the reason. But then I've known kids who got expelled because like they were being harassed by football players and then acted back. My high school is messed up.
I hate to
feel
say
like
it.
high school was a failed social experiment, and we should just stop.
We should just cancel high school while we're at
Joe
it.
Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan, get on this. The high school's making the frogs gay. Just cancel it.
That's Alex Jones,
I
but,
think the
same
frogs
energy.
are
Wait,
making the
oh,
high
wait,
schoolers
oh,
gay, is
that's
what
a
they
different
think right
person?
now.
I thought they were the same person. They look the same to me.
I mean, they're kind of... One's shaved.
They have the same energy, same face. They're just the same angry white man. Like, that's literally it to me. And same voice. I thought they were the same. And I literally didn't know.
I mean, between Alex Jones and Joe Rogan, it's pretty easy. I mean, you swap the letters around a bit.
Yeah, it's like Canada Dry and Ginger Ale.
Ginger ale. Yeah. Ginger ale.
See, my experience of that is so different because I grew up in Britain. I'm in the UK, so all of my schooling is far different to all you lot over the pond. And it's like
A lot less guns, I think.
a lot less guns. Still
I'm in New
knives,
York,
though.
so I haven't seen many guns in my life. Thank God. But
I have literally not even. I've seen like one or two in like a shop for like. It was like. I don't know, it was like this all-purpose shop we went into when we were on holiday, and we were there to buy fidget spinners, and there were just guns on display, and I was like, that's really weird. We don't usually get that in this country. And it's mostly because of the town I was in was just a really weird town. That place tries to be like the LA of Britain. It doesn't really work. But yeah, no, my schooling was much different. There wasn't any LGBT stuff in there either. I didn't find out anything about gender or trans people or otherwise gay people, just people that weren't straight. I didn't know anything. They didn't teach us. There was no, pardon me, no education like that in the entire school. And looking back at it now as an LGBT person, I'm like, I could have really have done with learning about these things in a formal setting.
Right.
And I also really could have done with the whole, especially like education on the asexuality spectrum as well, because by the time I realized I was ace, it was like I was 14. It was already too late. I'd already gone through the whole, oh, you must have sex and blah blah blah, and if you're gonna have sex, be protected, don't, or as they always do here, it's like the one way, the only surefire 100% way to never get your partner pregnant is to, of course, abstain from sex in the first place and never do it. And I was just like, okay. And now growing up, I'm like, well, sex is supposed to be a fun and pleasurable thing. It's not just the be all and end all of procreating. It's just, there's so many things I wish I'd have learned in school that I shouldn't have had to learn through places like Tumblr and DeviantArt, and I still had to, and I still am learning new things about LGBT people every day. And I shouldn't have had to have learned it like that. It should have come from my education, and it didn't. And that's utterly disappointing. But we never had issues where like somebody wasn't expelled for harassing protected groups, because we weren't big on sport. We're not really that big into sports. I can't speak. We don't really have that kind of, kids' careers can get ruined if they go down for being homophobic. It's like, well, we don't. That's not even at the forefront of the mind here. But even still, homophobia and transphobia were never dealt with at school anyway, as far as I remember. There was a lot of that kind of shit going on, and I don't even remember anybody ever being expelled for doing any of it. I'm pretty sure there was at least 1 or 2 trans kids in my whole school at a certain point when I was there. I didn't know anything of them. I didn't even know that they were trans. But when I did hear about, so and so's been punished for such and such, it's like, what did they do? Oh, they were just fighting in the hallway. It's like, well, what about all this other harassment that's been going on for years? Again, well, undiagnosed autistic kids, so that kind of goes back to that instead of my sexuality and gender thing. But like, there was so much bullshit at that school, and I'm so glad to be fucking free of it. Don't go back to school if you can help it, guys. Just don't. It's not worth it.
Just don't.
It's just not worth it. It's really not worth it. I had to drop out of college because my brain was just like, okay, I'm done masking now. I've had enough. You've done it for 16. Yeah, no,
So
you've masked for 16 years now. I'm done. I've had enough. I'm going to hit you over the head with a depression stick, and you're going to want to kill yourself if you don't drop out of college. I was like, right, well, this is a turn up for the books, isn't it? And that's when my mum was like, right, yeah. Things just happen, but like, I don't know. I think schools should do a better job at teaching about LGBT and identities and history, and
Absolutely.
because I just didn't know any of it. I hardly even knew it existed until I graduated, and I only knew it existed somewhat because of the internet. I'm like, cool, great. Some of this shit really should have been in the syllabus, but no, of course not. It is what it is, I guess. I don't know. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I'm old. I'm old. And thinking about the way that harassment was dealt with growing up, like, gay marriage was not legal yet. Like a while after I graduated, like not like that long, I guess. Like graduated in 2005, and I think it was 2008 that it got legalized, maybe, or it started to.
What?
Maybe it was even no wait, was it after
Gay marriage
that?
on the
Gay marriage in the
federal
US?
level, I believe, passed in
2008?
2015.
I thought it was
I have
23rd.
2008 in my head. I don't know why.
I have 2008 in my head too, but I don't know why
I think
now.
I think that might have been a specific state to like
Yeah.
Time to Google.
Yeah,
time to
Google, because
Google.
now I don't know. But so just the normalized, I mean, when we talk about, like trans people as the butt of the joke, just all like the
2015.
cultural
Yep, June 26th,
acceptance of being fucking horrible to LGBTQ people, like just generally, things weren't even considered harassment that today. Like, yeah, they're still not good at dealing with it in a lot of cases, but like the level of just like, oh well, they're just messing around or like whatever, like that from the administration, like not even in a, oh, we're not going to respond to it. It like people were being told like, oh, that's just a joke. Like it's okay to do that. Like at such a deep level. And then like, when I go back now and I like watch movies that were popular at the time, like I know one everybody talks about is fucking Ace Ventura. And like there's like a fucking horrific, like super transphobic scene that I do not recommend watching if you're not in the but it's so gratuitously horrible. And I'm like, I didn't even remember that and it's not like I watched that movie a million times or anything, but like when I watched the like somebody on YouTube like talk about how fucking terrible that scene is, I was like, we were so inundated.
Which scene specifically? Sorry.
What?
It's the Ace Ventura. I remember seeing that as a kid, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't understand it, and I was just like, "That's very weird to have that." But basically, it was that like I can't remember if he had sex with a trans woman or he just made out with a trans woman, but it was
Something
implied
like
that
that.
she slept with a lot of people, and it resulted in a lot of like the puke joke.
Yeah, like it goes on for like 5
Oh,
minutes of just
God.
like everybody
Sorry,
puking, like, oh.
Is that where Family Guy got that from?
I'm
No,
not
it's just a
familiar with
trope.
this at
It's just
all.
a
It's a
trope in like
trope,
comedy from like the 2000s and like 90s. It's like in a
Mhm.
bunch of shows, and Family Guy was just one of them. I know that at least Jim Carrey apologized and was like he doesn't
Hello?
think that way anymore, and he's like, I hate that I
Hello?
did that, but like doesn't help that he still did that.
Right. And I mean,
yeah.
it was
Yeah.
like it's in my
At
head
least he's
it wasn't
realized it
that
was
long ago, but like realistically that was like 20 plus 30 years
Yeah.
ago. Pain. But like
Yeah.
it was a long time ago. It was a different time.
Do you
And
feel your age in your bones yet?
Especially
feel
with
it in my
like how much
gender.
history breaking or how much history has been made within the past like 10 15 years of
Yeah.
us being alive. It's very gross to be like, oh, 10 years ago was a different time, but it really was.
Not really.
Yeah.
Okay, listen. I think it's
well, I mean-
complete fucking bullshit when people are like, "Oh, it was a different time back then, and when society had a different." Nah, fam. I know people who are in their fucking 60s, 50s, 40s, like every
Right.
fucking generation, who are like, nah.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I agree. I
even
agree.
knew that
that
this was
the-
wrong, and
it
like
was
they
a
had different
different
words
time.
for it.
Is
Yeah.
that it's like it was so inundating, like it was constant. It was everywhere and prevalent. Not you're free of like
Oh, yeah.
But that's what people
experiencing
use
that
it for.
and being like, I'm gonna use my brain to be like,
Right.
hey, I should be accepting of people.
But that's what people
generally.
use it as like an excuse for
Yeah.
themselves,
Yeah.
or an excuse for other people to just be like, "Well, it was with the times and da da." It's like,
Yeah.
then go against that shit. Like, if something's wrong, you
Yeah.
fucking make a stand up about it. You know,
It's
I don't
100%
understand.
not an excuse. It's more, I guess, it's a weird way of saying it. Like, it's
Explanation.
almost an explanation of, like,
That's
why they would
still an
even think that
excuse.
joke is okay, because it wasn't okay, but, like, yeah.
it's
doesn't-
hard.
Everyone
to
knew it
look
wasn't
at
okay,
the
but
Jim
they knew
Carrey
it would be
in
okay
that
enough to like
scene
make it.
in
Yeah.
a vacuum. Like you
Yeah.
can't just look at Jim Carrey and be like, oh, well, it's like no.
It's not Jim
all
Carrey,
of
it's the
Hollywood
writers,
was
the
Yeah,
fucking
it was a
directors,
whole.
everything.
It was like a
It's a
whole
team
some,
effort.
like thing.
It's a
It was
cultural
trope.
team effort.
Like
Yeah.
it's actually like a movie trope and TV trope of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
if you look on TVtropes.com or whatever the fuck
No,
that
no, I know,
website
I
is.
know.
Yeah, it's a
It's
thing.
It's tropes.
But so
I
you know
knew
what I was
nothing of that.
Yeah, it's a gross.
Tropes.tv
It's a
is
very
really
very
great
disgusting
for-
trope that thankfully seems to be dying, if not dead. I hope. There's probably
let
some-
transphobes fucking die.
Yeah, same.
Here's something I did
but-
want to like. Sorry, go on.
Well, I just think that the way that you know, so like we were talking about, you know, like as an autistic kid, you kind of see these norms and whatever, and you're like, oh, that's the thing. I remember seeing kids kind of parroting that sort of stuff because it was just in popular movies and whatever, and
Right, that's what happens.
like
Yeah.
teachers weren't like, oh, you
They
can't
don't
do that
correct
because
them.
they were like, this is a joke. It is a joke in these movies, so therefore these kids can make this joke. And then it just becomes this thing that gets perpetuated forever until people are like, yeah, you know what? Fuck that. We're gonna not do that. And so I think that, you know, in the last 20, 30 years, the difference of growing up with like that kind of movie and then like, you know, the stuff that we have now where even if it's like ooh woo trans, some of it's like very, very good. You know, like there is actual good representation that isn't just like, and then there was a trans girl. Because I think that some of that, like, it's not necessarily
Which is just called the
representation.
token.
It's just, yeah, right.
It's just like we're making it, and that's now your whole entire character, and that's not how you do true representation. You
Right.
make it organic as part of the story. I think Psychonauts 2 did a really good job of having a gay character as like a natural part of the story, as opposed to making it like the main focus of that character,
And not just killing them.
and not just actually. Oh fuck! The gay person died. God damn it! But it's okay. He got
Oh.
revived.
Speaking of Tumblr,
He's
and
not dead.
you
in the
know,
end, but, like,
Supernatural.
he's
fucking
presumed dead.
End of
Yep.
Supernatural. Destiel. All right, can I just?
Oh,
no,
God.
let's
Oh,
not.
God.
I'm mostly kidding, but also I'm not kidding.
As
Wait, what?
someone who
God.
watched Super Hulock from the outskirts, I did not. I've never seen Supernatural.
God.
I've watched some Doctor Who after
so you're
being
correct, by
part
the
of
way.
Tumblr, and I've not seen Sherlock. But I followed a lot of Super Hulock people, and that was my Tumblr feed was just Super Hulock, and I was like, yeah, this is cool. I have no idea what this is, but sure. And then being like, yeah, I thought they were in a relationship already. Wasn't that the drill? And then I heard about the season finale, and I was like, bruh, you did a bury
I
your
do gotta
gaze
give
in
Misha Collins props
2021.
because
CW.
he was like, Misha Collins was like outside of the show. Like I think he even got like heat from CW about because he was like, "No, they're gay."
Yeah. I remember
And
that
I
being like a thing.
appreciate
Like
that a
him being
lot.
like, yeah, no, they're totally gay.
They
Good.
were gay.
It's canon.
They should have ended. Like you know what? What season finale? That never.
It's canon now. They're dead. They didn't die.
I'm like,
Fine.
yeah, I'm just like, I just go like, I just groan like so exhaustedly whenever I see like a really, really bad LGBT trope in like the past like 3 years. I'm like,
Yeah.
come on, we've been through this.
Yeah.
You doing
Yeah.
a bury your gaze? Really? You're casting a cis person as a
Exactly.
trans person? Really?
Oh, that gets me so much.
Like
Yeah.
we take like big huge leaps forward, and then we just like now we're just gonna slide back through the mud a little bit and just
So
like
just a little bit, just for this one show, for this one movie. It's nobody's gonna notice in the next year or so. Those so many
Yeah.
same movies all come out at once. It's like, yeah, no, we noticed that. We noticed that. You're allowed to make some sort of reference to the time your movie is set in, I guess, but like, don't make it a running thing.
Can I just low-key answer Ori's question?
Mm.
Love, Simon it's a gay movie. It is. I found it very sweet. I don't think that it goes as far as it could have, but I think it's sweet. And I've heard that the TV show follow-up is very good, but I don't know from experience because I haven't seen the show. It's
Okay.
very basic. It's a very basic gay movie, though. It's just like, hi, I have a secret. I am gay. And while the person who's acting is not gay himself, his brother actually came out to him while he was in this role, and he's like, that's what he kind of channeled when he went through being his character of Simon. It's based off a book, and I've heard the book was also like just very plain, like, I am gay, and this is my secret, and this is my story as I navigate high school, trying to be secretly gay. But it has a happy ending. I'll leave it at that. I cried, but then it ended up happy. So I don't want to spoil it if you want to actually watch it.
Fair enough.
I should probably watch it.
It was the first. It was the first movie I saw that had gay representation, and I thought it was really good. And it was a movie I brought my younger sister to because she was questioning herself at that time, and we kind of bonded over it because we were both just like, "Wow, this is so cute." It was a good movie. I think
sometimes you just need cute. You know, sometimes you just need a cute gay story.
Sometimes you need a happy movie that's gonna make you cry a little bit because there are sad parts, but then it's good.
You just need a Hallmark movie, but it's gay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need that. Doesn't have to be huge and complicated. You just need simple love story, secret story, whatever, and it ends in happily ever after. That's it.
Right,
Sometimes you
right.
just need that.
And like not
That's
like
And I think
there's nothing wrong with like cis dudes that are gay, but like show a little love to somebody else.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, yeah, I know the guy who played as the actor who played as Simon. He was cis and straight, but his brother was gay, and he didn't know his brother was gay when he started acting in the film. And then his brother came out to him while he was on set, and he was just like, "Wow, now I feel like very proud of having taken this role." I don't think he won anything for it, and he didn't. He said he didn't do it to be like the. To gain credentials for like supporting gay people. He did it just because he thought it was a good role.
Honorary gay card.
Yeah, he didn't. He did like blatantly stay when he got the role. He was like, I'm not doing this just to make the gay people happy. I'm doing this because I think this is important to have this film out, and I want to portray it well. So give me as much information as you can, please. Like, I want to learn and be able to give you do this justice, kind of thing. So I think he did a good job.
Okay, that's good. At least you're respectful about it. There's like 3 fucking points I wanted to like go back to, unfortunately, because chat is lovely today. Maki brought up before when we were talking about like LGBTQ representation in schools, is that they never really hire the teachers that are like capable of even kind of teaching that, and it becomes this never-ending cycle of like nothing's going to change in the school system until they hire someone who is like pretty well versed with gay shit and knows how to present it in a in a good way and entertaining but also educational kind of way. And I commented, I said I think the reason for that though is that all the people that probably could teach that are just really burnt out or not teachers,
That just reminded me that our middle school health teacher, like she definitely didn't do like LGBTQ education, but she was like so clearly a lesbian. Like I think I knew that she was a lesbian, but she was like the field hockey coach. She had like that like 90s mushroom cut. Like I'm just like, Mrs. Horn, go you. Like
yeah, we had a very sex positive health teacher that I was thankful for, who I felt was annoyed about the curriculum that she was forced to teach us, because she like always made side comments about stuff. So just breath of fresh air. But for the most part, sex ed in school was just kind of pretty bare bone basic shit.
My sex ed was horrible. That's the, yeah.
I feel like sex
I
ed
do
should just
remember
require
though,
math class.
whenever I think of queer teachers, I just think back to my one art teacher who really, really, really loved Georgia O'Keeffe, and always had us like everyone had to draw a Georgia O'Keeffe inspired art piece, and like had a group project where we made something inspired off of Georgia O'Keeffe. We watched a Georgia O'Keeffe documentary, and then I learned later Georgia O'Keeffe was like a hella lesbian.
Oh yeah.
And made a lot of like references to like being,
All of her flowers were vaginas.
Yeah. And so I'm just like, and the teacher had vibes. Like looking back, I'm like, yeah, she definitely had vibes. She was just a really cool art teacher, and I was like, yeah, I love this teacher. And then I'm like, oh, yep, probably, maybe. I don't want to assume, but probably.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
I think
never
that
had
it's
that.
really important to also, I mean, I don't know about the UK, but in the US we have like the religious people that are like, you cannot do sex ed in schools, and like there's like this forever debate about like, oh, like, is it okay to teach kids about sex? Like, it's like, do you get that maybe if you just teach them like generally, like you don't have to go through all of the LGBT,
really
like you don't even have to, like, not even that stuff, just like, here's how to not get pregnant if you have sex. Like, they're fucking teenagers, bro. Like they're gonna fuck. Somebody's gonna do it. But at least I was gonna say at least one of them, but probably two. At least two of them are gonna, like, and you can't legislate not educating kids about this stuff. And
Except
I think
you can, because that's what they fucking did.
I mean, I did a whole, because I said that my sex ed sucked in high school. By sucked, I mean it was absolute garbage fire. I was in a public school, like not a Christian school, not a private school or anything. Public school that explicitly was like abstinence only. Did not taught us like wrong percentages of like chance of pregnancy for like different types of contraception. Like said like birth control is like only like 40% effective, something like that. Condoms are only like 89% effective. And if you do both together, like that's not even close to 100 still. And the only way to stay safe is by not having sex. And also you should be scared of STDs. Here's pictures.
Yep.
It was
pictures.
And it like the one I just remember my one teacher, I don't think she was like part of the teaching curriculum, but I remember her saying some comment about like Planned Parenthood intentionally like messes with the condoms that they give out to like make sure that they have more clients.
What?
I am sure that I heard that at least one time.
I was literally like, I just remember like at the time I was like pro-choice, like me, little 15-year-old me was pro-choice and like supported Planned Parenthood because my parents like had brains and were like, hey, you should support like reproductive rights and justice. And I was like, yeah. So that was when she said that. I was like, no. But
oh my god.
Yeah, and yeah, I remember that happening. And then sorry, I was gonna say something else. But yeah, no LGBT teaching. And in general, like I learned all of my comprehensive sex ed after the fact. Oh yes. So I did a research paper on like comprehensive sex ed and like sex ed rules across the United States. And most of the country, like I think it's 12% of states require sex ed. Or 12 states require sex ed in the United States. 6 of them require that the information be medically accurate.
What?
They don't require medically accurate information for sex ed. I'm like, that's like teaching like the wrong history. Oh wait, half of our country fucking does that.
Oh wait, we already do that. We already do that.
Like,
honestly,
already
this
five.
conversation has just made me go like, what was all
I will
that time
say-
that we wasted in school? What
I
did
mean,
any
I'm
of you
gonna
learn?
hope that my
Anything?
information
No.
is. I'm gonna hope that my information is slightly outdated because this research paper was from like 4 years ago. I'm hoping in 4 years
Yeah.
things have changed, but
Well,
Yeah,
you
it'll
know,
be 3
you know,
states.
you know what I do know, Pan. I know that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
I know.
Exactly.
I know
I'm
x
all
equals negative 2a, then the check mark thing,
A squared
X
plus B squared
like
equals
the
C squared.
quadratic theorem. Because I remember I had to write that like 200 times for me to remember because it was the only formula I couldn't remember in pre-calc.
I'm pretty sure I wrote the quadratic equation on a pair of sneakers once.
I
For a
wrote it
test.
on like 20 note cards, literally like sitting outside the
Some
door to
people
my
got a
Regents
song
exam. I
about
was
it.
just like writing the formula down a bunch, and then as soon as we sat down, I wrote that on like the notes sheet so that I didn't forget it. And then sure enough, we needed to use it on the last question. I was like, hell
Who's
yeah!
Dr.
I
Mama
prepared.
Jones, and what videos does she have? So. Also, all the shit that you're talking about. Zeinhardt, you weren't following
I
me
love Mama
before?
Dr. Jones. I'll say that.
Hi,
I
Zeinhardt.
see that. I do really like Mama Dr. Jones on YouTube. She's
Zeinhardt,
she's
I swear
actually
you
like
were
a
following
really
me
great
before.
person.
But welcome into the Waba fam.
Sorry.
What kind of videos does she do? I'm sorry.
Mama Dr. Jones is
Yeah.
what Soso is talking about. Yeah, she's on YouTube. She's a certified OBGYN. Like she's a board
Oh,
certified.
fuck yeah.
And she's honestly like really great. Like she's made a lot of clarifications about like her own like merch and stuff because there was questioning of like, do you like support trans people? And she's like, yes. Like the science backs up trans people. Like TERFs, shut the fuck up. Transphobes, shut the fuck up. And
I love
she
it.
literally calls out sexist shit. But like, yeah,
Great.
she's right now dealing with. I guess there's a city in Alaska that one of the teachers tried to use her videos as part of their sex ed curriculum.
Like education.
And it was just because she's a gynecologist. She's a board certified OBGYN gynecologist
Right.
practicing. And they
Her
were like,
videos were
she makes
explicit.
videos talking about sex ed. Like she doesn't go into explicit like raunchy detail, but all the news coverage about the board, like the school board having to sit down and be like,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is wrong to share to our children. And though they refuse to call her a doctor. Like all the men will not call her doctor. They just say Miss Jones, and she's like, that's Dr. Jones, excuse me.
Dr. Jones,
Like she's not even
excuse
there.
me.
She's just reacting to the board meeting, being like, I'm a doctor. And they're like, we need to have a doctor's approval on this. Can we get a
I am a
doctor to like
doctor!
look at this information and like confirm that it's
my
correct?
God.
And she's like, yeah, hi, that's me.
That's me. I'm a
Like,
doctor.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That is so fucking sexist.
It's so she's literally adding them. I think she's already had like 2 of the board members block her on Twitter because she just adds them all. And she's like, "Excuse me, will you like? I didn't even ask to have my videos in your sex ed curriculum, but they'd actually probably be very important seeing the things that you're saying in your board meetings about what your children should be learning." Like,
I love.
it's
I love her. I'm in love with her. It's great.
Yeah,
It's
I
great.
actually really like her content. She's honestly she hasn't shown
Ooh.
that she's a bad person.
Yeah.
Like,
I actually have seen her videos before. I just looked her up and I was like, yeah, I've seen her before.
yeah.
Her
Yeah.
content's pretty cool, yeah. Also, Frankie just walked in from double shift work and hand me these 2 what are these called?
Shirts?
Plaid
Flannels?
shirts. Flannels, thank you.
Tight.
I have comfy flanner now.
I was gonna wear
Nice.
flannel, but then I was like, I want to be cozy.
Flannel is
All my
cozy.
flannels are very tight to my skin.
No. Get big, large flannel. Much
I was gonna do a lot of things as well in prep for this, and all I managed to do was put some shit on my eyes, and that's it.
I mean, you put your hair in a braid, which is more than I can do.
I mean, yeah.
I put clothes on. That's about as much as I did.
Ribbon, any other time I would have said clothes are optional, but on Twitch, I don't like female presenting nipples. Because, yes, they use the Tumblr terminology.
Don't get me started. Don't.
John, you started.
No, I don't want
even
to talk
get
about
me
it.
started.
I really do not want to talk about it. It's dumb. Female presenting nipples. Oh my god. It's a nipple. Grow up.
But the
Pronouns are
booba,
she, her.
the booba is gonna turn the kids gay.
Is it?
Yeah.
But my Twitch platform for the games, it's for good gamer boy.
For the gay.
Honey, don't worry. Literally, the top fucking 100 streamers are basically all men. You're not in danger. The booba aren't stealing your views.
It's okay. It's fine, Twitch. Calm down.
Listen, if
Just
you're that
pat the
fucking
Twitch.
annoyed about the booba stealing your fucking views, just have booba yourself and just flash your audience every so often. There you go. You're welcome.
It's so stupid.
You joined the game, play the game.
Just just let people do what they want. I don't think it matters as long as you're not being explicitly sexual to a platform full of kids. It's okay. Private part is not allowed, and it's not even like breasts are inherently like sexual anyway. I don't even know whether they even
them in society.
And
it's
also,
not even like that inherently that way, though, is it?
yeah, we've kind of socially
Here to feed
constructed
babies.
the fact that that's a private part because, like,
Only in the US too. In Europe, like tits are shown all the time because it's just like whatever.
You try doing that in the UK and you'll get fucking stoned.
Wait, really?
You know, it's really honestly like
Really?
I don't know exactly what to blame, but like it's generally just like
Who's to
a
blame?
constructed
Shouldn't-
thing of like boobs are private parts because like it's literally just a part of your. It's not even. I don't even think it's an organ, is it? I can't even brain. I'm
If everybody
forgetting
could just
biology.
be real chill about it, we could have more booba.
Yeah,
That's all I have to say.
All-
Like,
Exactly.
All I
You're
know
if
is
the,
that
like,
you're true.
the
if
people
you-
that were like, booba, like just shush, and you can have many more booba. But
if you
need
decide to
stop.
have baby drink from booba, that is all I know.
It's so dumb.
That is the only function, and it technically can happen in any type of booba. Female presenting or male presenting or intersex presenting. It's just the matter of how many hormones are in the body.
Yeah, it's literally just like ooh, it's hidden, so it's mysterious.
just.
Yes, we were talking about boobalays. Mike Bublé, Michael Afton Bublé.
It's just so.
Peace.
It's just so ridiculous.
Ankles and knees used to be considered sexual. Elbows. I mean, fuck. feet
Ankles and
fetish.
knees of
Hello.
women used to be considered sexual. Correction.
Oh yeah, good correction. Because women are always
Apparently
sexualized
now.
throughout history, no matter fucking what.
Uh,
Guys,
apparently, collarbones and shoulders are also sexual, and it's just like. Dude.
you say that, and my friend Crazy's has like a running gag with people about like, ooh,
Shoulders,
you came
knees,
here,
and
you came here
toes.
for the collarbones. I know you did.
It's just like, okay, collarbones can be pretty, but shoulders, really? Really? You're gonna go for shoulders out of every other
well,
body
you know
part?
those straps are very distracting to a boy's education.
Oh,
so.
No,
Yeah.
no, no.
I feel like they're
No,
more
I'm
distracting to the
still
really
traumatized.
curvy teacher.
I just re-traumatized everyone. I'm sorry, but fucking dress codes are so fucking bunk in high school, and they claim that
this
they're
is why-
there. They claim that they're there because it's like, oh well, you got to look professional for the real life, and we're trying to prepare
No,
you
it's
for the
because you're
real
gonna
life.
distract
It's like,
the
no, you-
boys.
For the one time I wore a dress, like in high school, it was a sleeveless dress, and I had like a little, like jean jacket vest over it, and I was like getting sweaty, so I took it off, and less than like 10 seconds later, I had a teacher run over and be like, "You can't wear that." I was like, I've been wearing this all fucking day, and I'm hot. So I'm taking my fucking vest off, okay? And they're like, yeah, but you can't have your shoulders out. I'm like, okay, well,
Why?
I'll put my backpack straps over it. Does that work for you? Okay. And then they shut up. I was like, I'm literally, like, I have 90s in all the classes. Like, not that that's needed, but, like, you have no reason to tell me what to fucking do
You
right
weren't
now.
worried about your education.
Besides you're thinking that, like, I need to change my clothes because it'll make people stare at me, which, guess what? No one paid attention to me in high school.
No, only the
So
fucking creepy ass teachers.
Except
That's
for
the
creepy
shit.
ass. It was literally like,
Yeah.
of course, it was a man that came over and told me that I needed to change my outfit, and then I said no. I was like, I'll
Why
put
were
my
you looking at
backpack
me?
over.
Why are you staring at me, sir?
I put my backpack on my shoulders. I was like, does that work for you? And then he sent like the vice principal, who is a woman, to tell me that I needed to go change. And I'm like, it is 2 p.m. and school ends in 15 minutes. Why do I need to go home and change right now? I'm going home in 15 minutes.
I'm pretty sure I had to put on like my gym uniform,
Dead. So
or they
fucking
were like
stupid.
gonna send me home over wearing like fucking normal ass clothes I got at the mall. Oh my god.
I need to correct Tater real quick. It's not just the thing that they don't teach boys not to look. They don't fucking teach boys to be fucking just respectful of other people in general and be like held responsible for their fucking actions. Like the whole like boys will be boys shit is again also part of heteronormativity of just like, yeah, guys can get away with fucking everything. And they're allowed to sexualize women. They're allowed to like over sexualize everyone and fucking look and stare. And
Well,
like,
and,
well,
you know,
don't
they're
get
not
caught.
allowed
Don't
to
get
have
caught
feelings
staring, or else
and-
you're a creep. What's that? Sorry.
Oh god, don't start me on the fact that men are supposedly not allowed to have feelings. I have a lot of feelings about that myself.
Well, you're not allowed to have
boy.
feelings.
Well, because I
if
think
you're a man,
that people
obviously.
always bring up the like, oh
Remember,
god, boys can do whatever, but like I
feelings are
think
stored in the
that's
balls.
some of the biggest like
Feelings started.
The feelings are stored in the
It's
balls
so
and taken out
harmful.
in sexual aggression. And you wonder why. Oh, I probably shouldn't say that, but I was gonna say something I probably shouldn't, but you know.
I don't know why my brain just thought of I watched this one YouTube channel called One Topic at a Time, and he was going over the Reddit thread of, no, it was Jamie Dodger who was going over bad men's anatomy or something like that, and it was like, men don't have hormones, they have testosterone.
I
I'm
remember that
That's
video.
the same energy as, sorry, I don't date girls who have pronouns.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Happy for you.
Going quickly back to the whole dress code thing, in the UK, strictly uniform only. No, you're not allowed to wear anything that isn't uniform. Even primary school kids have to wear a uniform. Even fucking nursery kids have to wear a uniform. There is no leeway. They have things like non-uniform days for celebrations and other fun stuff, but otherwise, uniformed. You have to wear
I feel like,
in high school, secondary school, basically. It was what we call it here. But for some reason, my partner calls it high school anyway. Have to wear a tie, have to wear a shirt, a blazer. If you're cold, you're allowed an optional jumper. If you're wearing trousers, they have to be office cut with that line down the middle of them. Have to have the badge on the blazer. Tie has to be the school one with the fucking logo on the fucking thing, and it has to be visible when you tie the tie, and if it's not, you get yelled at. Pardon me. You have to wear office style shoes. You can't wear huge heels if you're a woman or female presenting. If you're wearing a skirt, it has to be just above the knee. You can't wear it any shorter than that. And at a certain point, they brought in a skirt that had the logo on like the side of it, and it was like, if they can't see your logo on your skirt, you're wearing it too short, or to prevent them from rolling up the hem of the skirt. It's just like, oh my god. And then, of course, for people who are less fortunate in terms of finances, it costs so much to have a decent school uniform and to have enough articles of clothing to rotate around the 5 days that you're supposed to go to school for. It's ridiculous.
Sounds ridiculous.
We used to like write papers about like should we have a uniform or not, and
Yeah.
I definitely remember thinking like, well, like at the same time getting yelled at for like wearing like the clothes that my fucking Christian ass mom would buy me that were like really preppy, not like, you know, trying to show skin or whatever, right? Like I'd be getting yelled at for that, and like as an autistic kid, I was just like, why are there not just give us a uniform? You would
Yeah.
never have this problem. And so it's like on one side of the spectrum, you know, when you make it like, here are the 10 things that you can pick from, mixed and match, like that makes it really easy in some ways, because then you don't, I mean, especially if it's like not gender restricted, because if it is, then that's a whole nother
Ball game.
yeah, you know.
Yeah.
And so like I think that obviously it never works like that, but like when you're in that like, oh, you can wear whatever, just not anything that the male teachers find to be distracting,
Right.
you know,
So dumb.
that it in a perfect world, like that's awesome. But you know, like obviously it doesn't work like that, and of course they don't like, hey, we're gonna give everyone the uniform so you can wear what we require you to wear to school. Like, no, if you're poor, get fucked.
Yeah, exactly. That's part of the problem. That's part of why, I suppose that's part of why in the US you don't really have uniforms unless it's like a proper fancy preppy private school that people pay for. It's because of that fact. It's because of I mean, it's kind of going into an intersectional kind of thing now, but like there's a lot of more disparity between the classes, as far as I'm aware, at least, living in the UK. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a bigger disparity between the lower classes and the higher classes in the US than there is in the UK.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Absolutely, there is. It's huge. The gap in socioeconomic status just continues growing wider, and the slightly higher than surviving paycheck to paycheck middle class is constantly used as like a foot soldiers against anyone else who is living paycheck to paycheck. And it's just like, well, you should hate these people because how dare they have welfare and how dare they have rights, you know, you should be angry at them. And that's just a ploy by the rich in order to keep them in power and keep them richer and continue utilizing effectively slave labor yeah. So, yep. Think
Yes.
maybe target customers demographic type-ish. Which is just basically Walmart, but we feel fancy about ourselves. Sorry, I only speak facts. Good timing.
Yeah,
Good timing. Good timing.
Moon and Ann said there are
hold on.
public schools that have uniforms, and
Yeah.
like there definitely are. And I think back, like I grew up in Massachusetts, and it was all the Catholic schools that had uniforms, but then we didn't at public schools. And so I think it's definitely like a regional thing,
Yeah.
and the way that it's kind of been for a while, in that area. And like getting them to switch is like a big deal. And I think one thing, I saw a lot of, I think, policy change around that kind of happen like weirdly, along with like you're not allowed to have backpacks, or you have to have clear backpacks for
so weird
school shooting reasons, you
Can
know,
we-
because
can
like
Can I catch up on chat real quick? Because there's
Yep.
some shit, there's some stuff before. Because Maki's speaking facts in my chat, and I love her for it. Just like the truth is the girls would distract the male teachers who are secretly pedos. Like, do I make you horny pedo? Like, what the fuck? Like, literally when you're telling that story, Ribbon, I was like, why the fuck is he staring at you? Like, why did he fucking immediately just like be like, hey, I see shoulders. I'm getting a stiffy. Like, what the fuck?
I think one of the
Seriously.
comments I even made was like, I'm literally like less than an A cup. Like at the time I still
Good
had
for
to
you.
wear like training bras and shit. I was
Yeah.
literally like, there's nothing here that's gonna be revealed.
well, and so that's another point too. Anybody that's like plus size or like, you know,
Mhm.
early
Yeah.
developed, you can't wear anything. Like,
Oh
there's
yeah,
got tits,
nothing
you're
my
wrong,
older
basically.
my older sister can
Yeah.
attest to that because she had very large and could not wear anything without being stared at and told she needed to change. She was constantly pulled from school for having to change, and so my mom would literally be like, "All right, time to get you camisole tops to wear under all of your clothes to try to like allow you to be in your classes." Because
right.
fuck
It's so
this
fucking
shit.
stupid.
Or you just wear a giant ass hoodie, which is also non-binary culture. So like,
Yeah,
hey,
she
Mhm.
literally.
But-
I actually most of my hoodies that I have are from my older sister because she's like, I literally don't like wearing hoodies, but like I had to wear hoodies in order to get to go through school.
Is that why I like oversized clothing? That's a non-binary thing?
Yeah,
I
it's definitely
love
a
oversized
big-
clothing.
That makes
It's
sense.
definitely a big non-binary thing.
That makes sense.
cut a hole in a sheet and drape it, and I'm like, fuck yeah,
Fuck
this
yeah.
is fashion.
Literally. Well, this is kind of like almost like a cropped hoodie. Almost. Well, it's like a small. It's like a short
Honestly,
torso hoodie.
all the
But,
stories
like,
that
yeah.
I'm seeing in chat right now with like Ori with like her daughter takes off her sweater, it's not appropriate because dressed as spaghetti straps, fucking spaghetti strap shit, the fucking bra strap fell, the cleavage is showing with so it's so fucking sickening, honestly. Like all the dress code shit is so fucking sickening. And I feel like,
so-
yeah. I mean, obviously, it only targets girls too. Like, has a
yeah.
boy ever been like dress coded for something? Seriously, I really want to know.
You know what?
Oh.
We had a thing where they were wearing like offensive T-shirts were a thing for a while, and
Yeah,
I don't
that was
know.
one of
I
our
don't know if
rules.
that's still, but like buying
Graphic
shirts at like
tees or some shit.
Spencer's and
Yeah.
whatever, and
Oh,
they
we
were
didn't
like
have that.
rude shirts. Like
I
that
just
was a
rem-
big thing.
I
for a
just
while.
remember
God.
being dressed, having all of my my friends who were women presenting get like called out from like getting excused from class to go change, or like sent home to go change. Meanwhile, every day after school, like when classes ended and we had like activity period, which was like maybe like a solid like hour after classes ended, like we would be able to do like extracurricular clubs and stuff. And that is when all the track kids, the like 30 or so teenage boys, would be running through the hallways shirtless and wearing nothing but like gym shorts. Just running through the school. No comments made. I'm like, you can see everything. They're teenage boys. You can see everything. Like, but
Yep.
but if you wear leggings and you don't have something to cover the top half of your leggings, well, that's a problem. If you are plus size at all, or if you have if you happen to have the titty not revealed, just have them.
I also
Sorry.
like the schools tend to always have cheerleading uniforms that don't fit their dress code, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
like such a like
Ours-
I don't know, like
Ours
popular girl
surprisingly
trope.
did. Ours
but,
were like the ones at my school were actually like up to the neck. Like it was a full like it was like a like for the like I remember because my older sister was also in cheerleading and she had to wear like a double sports bra to fit into it. But it was literally like it like the sleeve went to here and then it was like a collar vest. And that was then the winter one or the fall one or whatever was like sleeved. But like the skirts were still really short. She had to wear like Spanx underneath and then tights on top of that, and then like her knee-high socks or whatever.
Oh my god.
Sorry, I'm still.
But yeah,
catching up.
I've noticed that other schools though usually like their cheerleading
Yeah.
outfits are very weird.
Maki was saying that like outfits are actually kind of useful for lower economic, socioeconomic, because they don't have to worry about buying like clothes to like make their kid like look better, kind of thing. You know. Hi, Supa.
I just remember for cheerleading specifically for us, it was the skirt length because we had the finger test, which was like so non-scientific, where like you have to like stand up and put your arm straight
like,
down, and it had to be longer than where your
on
fingertips
knees or
go.
some shit, yeah.
But like the cheerleading skirts were absolutely not. And I mean, I think that that's even still a thing in like in the last Olympics, wasn't there a big
Oh. Mm-hmm.
with the volleyball team was like, we want to wear different clothes or
It
something?
was
Oh yeah, they didn't want to wear bikinis. They just want to wear like
one of the Williams, either Venus or Serena. For tennis, I remember had to wear like the dress code for tennis was like the really tiny polo shirt and then the skirt. And because she was pregnant but wasn't telling anybody she was pregnant, she was explaining it was some other medical condition where she had to wear a full like bodysuit instead and then a skirt on top of that. And they said that that did not follow proper dress code because it was literally like a full bodysuit that was like from her neck, full sleeve, and full like leg, like covered. But apparently that didn't follow the dress code for tennis. And so she was like, "So why is that? Why does that not follow dress code? I would assume that follows dress code even harder than what
Yeah.
most tennis players would play." And they're like, "No, no, no. It's this specific uniform." It's like, "Oh, so you just want to be able to look up tennis players' skirts when they go to spike the ball
yes,
or whatever
correct.
it is. I don't know sports." And same with volleyball. Yeah, they didn't want to wear bikinis. They wanted to wear like I think at the same time there was also like a couple volleyball players who wanted to wear like a one-piece bathing suit for the Olympics, and they were like, "No, you have to wear a two-piece bikini."
And I mean, like, don't they like make I don't know, there's such a trope about like, oh, the volleyball players are hot, like blah blah, like it's such
I'm pretty
a
sure it was actually I don't know. I'm actually gonna look it up. I'm not gonna.
I remember it was I remember the suit that I'm talking about. It was one of the Williams, but I can never remember which one. It was either Venus or Serena. Mama Bear says that was Serena Williams.
So
Yes,
I think,
super
you know,
agrees.
with all the uniform stuff, it's like it's so bad in a like gender equality way, but then when you're someone who's like either out as non-binary or like trying to figure out your shit while existing in that kind of a culture, it's like, well, where the fuck do I fit into this? Like and I think it's really hard sometimes to separate like, well, I don't want to get treated like this versus like all gender is a construct versus like this is how I specifically feel inside of that construct versus like in a perfect world where we don't have this bullshit happening, like how do I actually feel? And so, you know, it's pretty hard to like sort out those different tiers of like, yeah, where does your actual identity come from? Is it because you don't want to be part of this bullshit system that like is super oppressive and hypocritical and like creepily predatory and all, you know, like there's so many things that are terrible about the way that we even just treat clothes and that sort of binary, and so many other tiers of that it's like, well, how are you supposed to figure that out? how do you unpack that?
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know, before we said like, you know, cis relationships can be like super toxic, and I think that a lot of the time like super cis het people that have never unpacked any of that, that is to their detriment, you know, where a lot more like generally queer or somebody who's gone through that, like, well, how does this affect me? Like, where does my identity come in? Like, when you've thought about that yourself, and like, even if you're like, yeah, every day it changes, I don't fucking know. If you're still thinking about that and having those discussions with yourself, you're more likely to have like a better relationship dynamic, because it's not just like, yeah, whatever society told me I was supposed to do, then that's what we do.
That was how mine and David's relationship started. Was I was just doing what society kind of ingrained in my brain I was supposed to do as an asexual person, just please my partner the way that they might want to be pleased. And then he was like, "You're clearly uncomfortable with this. You don't you don't have to do this if you don't want to." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And so we just existed together. Like, it was literally, yeah. I had a lot of trauma related shit that fucked me up pretty badly from a previous relationship, that I was like, yeah, I have to sexually please my partner even if like they didn't ask for it. I should just make sure that they're satisfied. And he was like, David's like,
That's weird.
you don't have to.
Yeah.
If you don't want to, we don't have to do anything. We can just hang out. I was like, wait, really? Yeah. I was like, do you want to watch a movie? I'm like, yeah, let's just watch a movie. Like, it literally, like, and then I learned the terms, and I was like, oh, like, this is like, in college I learned like asexuality and non-binary and transgender and gay and all that stuff. Like, I also learned everything through Tumblr. And then eventually I did more research and was like, wow, it's even bigger than just Tumblr. Like, I learned history and stuff and like all that. But like, until before I had the terms, I was just like, I'm probably broken. I need to be fixed, and this is how I'm gonna fix myself,
honey,
by
no.
by doing all the things the society is telling me to do, which is usually actually what my abusive ex-boyfriend was telling me to do, because that's gonna fix everything. If I just keep doing the things I don't like, eventually I'll like it, right?
No.
Yeah.
I went through a same sort of phase as well,
Yeah.
because even though I had already discovered I was ace, I had these very conflicting feelings, like, I don't want to be ace anymore. I don't like being ace. It's too much. People always expect something from me. I don't talk about this a lot because I don't like to bring it back up because it hurts and it's painful. But in like 2018, I was role playing on Twitter as my self-insert OC character, and the people I was role playing with couldn't understand that my character had a different romantic attraction and a different sexual attraction, so they couldn't understand that when my character did romance shit, they weren't looking to then take it to sex, because at the time I was straight ace, strictly ace. I was like, well, I'm not straight either. I can't be straight. I'm non-binary. That's not how it works. So I kept having to have this conversation, like, look, when I'm like trying to be romantic with your character, I'm not aiming towards sex. I'm just being romantic because that's as far as my character goes. And they said back, well, like, that stuff translates to sex in most places. And I'm like, yeah, but like not always, and not for me and my character. And it makes me uncomfortable when your character's like, oh, I'm attracted to you like that, because like that's not what my character wants. And it was a whole thing, and it ended badly, as most often does. And I was in tears for like a day, because that was like, I really liked the person behind that character as like a friend, and I lost that, and that wasn't fun. And that was years before I met my current partner. So but even then, there's still the thing of, man, I just hated being asexual for a while, because it just like, especially because I was sex repulsed. So anytime my partner and his friends, my current partner, but at the time we weren't together, did like talked about sex and stuff, I just had to like step away, because I felt like nauseous. I felt like I was gonna throw up, and it's like, that's not fair on really the people around me, that I have to take myself away. But also, like, they should have understood my boundary that they were crossing, and that they didn't. And I had a right go at my partner that night, and the following day he wasn't happy with me, and he was like, okay, we're going back to square one. You fucked it up. Start again. And I was like, right, yes, I fucked it up because I put a boundary in place that you and your friends kept crossing. Yes, okay, sure, fine. Fine.
Yikes.
I mean, that's all sorted now. That was years ago now. God, it's almost been multiple years. Ugh, I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think about that. But yeah, that, fixed it, sorted out the problem. And since then, I've since realized that, the fabled sexual attraction that the aloes go on about has hit me over the face. It's like, right, okay. So I'm not straight up ace anymore. Used to be. and I used to struggle with it a lot, but I don't so much anymore because I'm not so much. Well, I'm more open to it, I guess, and it's a lot less. I don't know. I just don't feel so disgusted by it. But back then, and it's just because I felt so disgusted by something that everyone around me was so comfortable with, it started to feel like I really, really hate being this way. I wish I could be something else. I wish I was just heterosexual or a homosexual instead of just being ace. And that was something I had to deal with and grapple with for a long time. And still to this day, I also have issues with acceptance, I guess, because gray ace, but also in a rather sexual relationship, it's like, doesn't quite compute, especially to my mother, who's like, oh, I always told you you'd find someone in the end. And like, well, no, because I'm still on the A spectrum. I'm still on the A spectrum. I'm not cured of my asexuality, mother. That's not how it works. Just because I found someone, yeah, that's one person out of a possible many. There's no way. I don't think I'll ever experience this kind of attraction to anybody else ever again. And that's just the way I perceive it. But my mum's like, oh, well, then you finally found this person. It's like, I told you all along you'd find this person. It's just like, Mum, please, be quiet. You understand nothing. You don't know shit.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
I'm glad my parents didn't even bother to try to figure it out. I just kind of, well, I spent a long time not telling my parents about my identities. They still don't know I'm non-binary, but like, I just kind of was like, I think it was maybe, when was it, last year? Or was it 2020? What, somewhere during the panorama, I posted on Facebook, was like, hey, I'm Ace and Pan, okay, cool, bye. And then, like, some people in the comments of, like, just extended family were like, oh my god, we love you, like, or asking questions, being like, so what does that mean? Because they're like, I thought those two were opposite. It's like, no. So my one friend put it in a great way, was like, so you don't want to fuck any gender as an even widespread amount. I was like, yes, sure, that's a good way to put it. He's very just blunt. He was like, so what is ace? How do ace and pan work in tandem? Because pan means you want to fuck everybody, and ace means you want to fuck nobody.
No,
and I was like,
not necessarily.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, he was just that's just the way he talks. He's like he accepts LGBT everything. He's like, I don't get it. I'm a straight white guy, but like I'm gonna do my best to accept everyone, and like nothing surprises me. But he was just like, I don't understand this, but like, can you say what it means to you? Like, I was like, well, I don't generally experience attraction, but if I did, it would be regardless of gender. And he's like, okay, yeah, I get that. And it was like, tight. I was like, yeah, that's, yeah. But then, like, my parents just heart reacted, and they haven't commented. And I was like, good, thank you for not asking and trying
Thank you for not making this awkward, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was one awkward moment when I graduated college. I think I've told Waba this, where I was part of what's called like a lavender celebration, because
Yes.
yeah, the lavender celebration is like to celebrate LGBTQ people and allies, but it's mainly and allies. Like, obviously there are allies who participate in the lavender celebration, but
really? They openly invite allies to it?
Well, for specifically, well, the allies specifically have to be like, because like the GSRC at our school was like open to anybody, like anyone, regardless of gender, sexuality, whatever was part of it. If you were like a member but were a cis straight person, you were allowed to be part of Lavender Celebration if you graduated and were like in like the degrees or whatever that like are affiliated with like LGBTQ studies. But for the most part, the term and allies was mainly for people who were LGBT to be allowed to invite their family without question, being like, oh, well, I'm an ally, you see. And that's why I'm part of the LGBTQ celebration. the lavender celebration. Don't worry, parents. We did have a few like trans members who like were quite closeted to their parents. Were able to invite their parents and be like, "See, I am still like dead named in my lavender celebration." I'm like,
Good
ow,
Lord.
we saw that happen. And I was like, oh my god, because like we knew the one person as like one name, and then they had their dead name called out so that their parents didn't know.
Oh,
But,
I know who
like-
that is.
But either way, so my mom had gone and watched the celebration with my grandparents as well. They love them. They met the person who was head of the GSRC, who's like a non-binary person. We're like, oh, hey, you're so cool. And they're like, Cassie tells me so much about you guys. You're awesome, blah, 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 like chatting. And my mom was like, I have no idea what LGBT stuff is, but I support it. Yeah. And then, so afterwards, like, I think like 2 days later or whatever, I'm like with my mom and my grandparents, and we were like shopping or whatever. And we sat down at Wendy's, and my mom was like, Cassie, I finally know what to call you.
Oh,
What?
What?
She's like, I'm so glad you brought me to the lavender celebration because I know what to call you now. You're an ally. Me, my partner started choking and gasping. I just sat there and like froze like mid-sip, and I was just like in my brain, I'm like, do I want to come out on a Thursday at noon in the middle of this Wendy's? No.
Yeah,
I was like,
Mom, this is a
yeah,
Wendy's.
Mom. She's like, I've been calling you my gayest straight daughter to all of my coworkers because I didn't know the word.
Oh my god.
I was like, that's probably the closer descriptor. But I'm not gonna say that. Thank you. Wow, I'm glad you learned so much at the
Yes,
lavender
Mom.
celebration, Mom.
God, that's so cringe.
oh my fucking god.
Well, obviously that was sorted out when it came out like 2 years later. But like, it was just so funny. It was that like literally had me like that. Like I told my friends, I told the person who was like the coordinator for the GSRC who like met my mom, and they were just like, well, at least she's learned new terminology, like more accurate terminology to like
Along the path.
LGBTQ allies. And because she was like, because she said she called to her coworkers, she was telling them that I was her gayest straight daughter because she didn't know how to describe, because in her eyes, I was a straight person and I was her daughter. So she didn't know how to explain that, like, I was very much a big LGBTQ advocate because I was in a women's gender sexuality studies degree. I wanted to go into like LGBTQ studies, and like I was very vocal online about LGBTQ stuff. And she's like, I don't know how to explain this because my daughter's cis and straight, but doesn't. Well, obviously I'm not, but she thought that, and
She
she was
cares
like,
about
well,
gay things.
but like really, really, really vocal about LGBT stuff,
How
and
can
I
you
don't
care
know
about
how to
gay
explain
things
that
and
because
be
most
cis-het?
straight cis people are not like that. And I'm like,
hate this
I'm
for you.
surprised that she didn't just ask.
Mm.
I think that's the funniest thing. She just didn't ask. She was like, I didn't want to like just assume that maybe you're LGBT, so I just called you my gayest straight daughter. Like,
It's
but now you're an
kinda
ally. I
wholesome.
was like,
It's
no.
it's honestly a little bit wholesome. Like,
It is wholesome.
Yeah.
It's why I'm laughing, because it's really wholesome. She
Wholesome
like
cringe.
she was really
Yes.
trying to be like an LGBTQ advocate for me, but didn't know that I was LGBT. So she's like, I don't know what to call you, so this is the best word I can come up with to explain the situation. And I'm like, wrong,
Sweet
but
little
thank
child.
you.
I just want to say, like,
Here's
like
a
my
silver star
daughter
for
is
trying.
an LGBT ally bumper sticker. Like my son is an honor student. Like my daughter's an LGBTQ ally. Like
My gayest
I'm proud
straight
of you.
daughter is an ally to the LGBTQ community.
I wonder why that they're an ally.
I was
That
like-
beats me.
I was like, but like, I mean, my little sister had also come out to them at one point, so they probably were just like, well, obviously, if I was LGBTQ, I would just tell them. But then I just didn't, because I honestly, I just, one, I wasn't sure how they'd take it, and two, I don't like people asking me just a fuck ton of questions about, like, every little detail,
Yeah.
and legitimately learning my identity on Tumblr and dealing with gatekeepers just nitpicking my existence, I just was like, I don't want people asking questions and asking like, what? How do you have a boyfriend while being pansexual and asexual? Like, how? So do you have sex? Like, do you plan on having kids? I'm like, no, I don't want to. I don't want those questions. So I'm just gonna not tell anybody and just exist. And if people find out about it, then I'm just like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm not going to deny it. And then it was like, it was getting to the point that, like,
or they could be a normal person and not ask such fucking personal questions of someone they just met.
It was getting to the point that even without telling them, they were starting to ask, like, so when are kids coming? And I was like, okay, this is going to be addressed now. I'm in.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I know my parents watch BoJack Horseman, and there's an asexual character in there, so I'll just say I'm asexual, and they'll figure it out. It's like there's some asexual representation in the stuff they're watching that maybe they'll figure that shit out. If I just say it, they'll be like, oh, like Todd. Okay, cool, I get it. Like, okay.
Nice.
I love. They're like Todd.
Yeah, I'm like Todd. Honestly, though, he is a mood. Like, if he were non-binary, I'd be like, yeah, that's legit me. I just wear a hoodie. If I had a beanie, I would wear a beanie. And I just sleep and hang out and just make really, really dumb jokes. I just meme.
So you're a streamer.
And
That was kind of a self-burn, to be honest.
I was gonna say, Waba, you can't make jokes like that.
Yes, I can. I'm a streamer. I'm allowed to make the streamer jokes. All right. Any Twitch primers in the chat? I will show titty for the next Twitch primer. Let's go. Going on
you will show a female presenting nipple to the next.
I will show a female presenting nipple on the stream live.
Oh,
let's go.
God.
Time for the 31-day subathon. Time to beat out Ludwig. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go.
Gotta include a fake laugh in there. There it is.
Oh, dear.
Anyway. It's a lot being gay.
It is. There was something I was gonna say, and I've lost it. And now I'm frustrated with myself because I lost what I wanted to say. Just autism brain.
Is it about Todd?
No, it was about coming out as ace. Because I didn't exactly come out as ace. My sister outed me to my mum because I told my sister.
I remember
like,
this.
Yeah, in 2016, we moved house because of the divorce. It was 2 years coming, so I should have known, but still, it wasn't any easier. And sitting in my empty bedroom, because we just moved in, so there was nothing there, I was talking to my sister, and, well, actually, I had my stepbrothers there as well, and my stepbrothers were like, do you know, like, how do I describe it without being, like, explicit? But they were like, you know, thrusting their hips as though to mime that kind of thing. And I was not happy because back then I was very repulsed. And I was like, please don't do that in my room. No sexual in my room. And my sister, and they left, and my sister came in and she was like, why? And I said, because I'm ace, dear sister, because I'm ace. I don't experience that. And I'm repulsed by it, so I don't want boys thrusting their hips in my direction in my room. And my sister was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. About a week, maybe more, actually, probably about 3 weeks after, and we moved in and we're settled and we're sitting on the sofa and we're watching TV. And actually, we're watching Bastille live on, was it live? We're watching back a Bastille concert set. And Mum starts talking about how she wants to be in relations with the lead singer, and then it kind of spirals from there. And my sister goes, well, Absol isn't going to do that because Absol's ace. And then my mum was like, what? And I was like, this isn't how I wanted to do this. This is not how I wanted to do this. But at the time, I was just so struck, and I was like, internal panic. And my mum was just like, what does that mean? And I had to clarify. It's like asexual, no sexual attraction. And my mum laughs, and I'm like, this isn't going well. This is not going well. And she says, yeah, right. After all that lusting for Hero. And I was like, it wasn't like that at all. You just misread my romantic attraction to that character as inherently sexual, because you experience both romantic and sexual attraction at the same time, whereas I don't. They come separately. And I couldn't even say anything. I just was like, this is not how I wanted to do this. This is not how this should have gone. And yet it did. And I didn't realize until much later on, actually, that my sister had outed me. And then I realized, that's a no-no in this kind of community, this kind of, thing. And I was just like, dearest Fez, I call her Fez, that's not her name, but for the sake of internet, we're going to call her Fez. You shouldn't have done that, because that wasn't your story to tell. That wasn't your thing to tell my mum, our mum. That was mine. That wasn't anything to do with you. That was my thing to tell. I should have been the one to tell mum that, and I should have been the one to, I should have been prepared for it. You caught me off guard, which meant that I was subjected to aphobia, which I didn't enjoy. And my mum would never throw me out for something like that, but I still felt unsafe, in a way, because if it already took a hit to my mental health when she said that, like, oh, you can't possibly be ace. Oh, that you can't possibly not experience sexual attraction. I've seen you experience sexual attraction. I was like, no, you fucking haven't. But okay, fine. I don't want to argue about this because this is intrinsically who I am. You don't get a say in this. So I just shut up. And I'm pretty sure not long after that revelation, I went up to my room because I was like, I just don't want to deal. I'm not in the mood. You've all pissed me off. So, I had to tell my sister that you don't do that. You don't do that. That's not how you do this.
That can be dangerous.
It could have been. It really could have been. Like, it really could have ended a lot worse. Because who knows how that could have gone. And so if it was a bit more of more well-known sexuality at the time, and a more like one that has more volatile kind of consequences for, if, say my mum was in fact homophobic, she's not, but say she was, and my sister said, oh, Absol's gay, I would have been fucked.
Right.
I would have been absolutely fucked. So the same thing kind of goes for asexuality and non-binariness as well. And for a long time, I had to hide the asexual part of myself because I just couldn't deal with my mum's aphobia, because it was just so all the time. And it was just like, I just don't want to talk about this right now. When you talk about this, you talk about it as though I'm your perfect little copy and photocopy of yourself. And I'm just like, well, I'm not though, am I? I'm me. I'm a different person to you. Just because you also didn't have the sex until like you were 19, or you didn't experience that kind of attraction until you were 19, doesn't mean that I'm also going to go through that. The fact that I did in the end has nothing to do with the fact that I'm your daughter. It just has to do with the fact that that's just how sexuality evolved. That's just how it happened. It's not necessarily that she was right all along, that I suddenly, I experience sexual attraction now. No. But I knew as soon as I told my mum that I was having sexual relations with someone, that she'd turn around and go, "Oh, I told you so," and lo and behold, she fucking did.
I think that it's like when, so like I'm no contact with my mom, and she was very
Same.
like, oh, you're exactly like me, like you're just like, that was like part of why she didn't want me to cut my hair, was because she liked her long curly hair, and she's like, I want you to have long curly hair.
That shit,
but
because we were talking about earlier in stream about how parents will like fucking live vicariously through their
Right.
child, and it's just like, what the fuck?
Well, so I think that it's like, great, so we have so much in common, so how come you couldn't have created a better space for me to go through an experience that, like, oh my god, you knew that this was gonna happen? Like, maybe remember how it was for you when you went through this, and like make it safe for me to have that experience. Like, don't be like, oh, this is just gonna happen to you later. Like, give space. Don't like be like, oh, you're just like me, so it's just gonna be like this. Like, no, dude, like be like, you gotta say like, oh, well, you know, whatever happens, I love you, you're my kid, like, I'm gonna accept you no matter what. This is what happened for me. Maybe that'll happen for you. If it doesn't, that's awesome. Who cares? You know, like, there should be like acceptance across the board. It shouldn't be like, well, it's just gonna be just like me. Like, God, I mean, sorry, I had to go on it, because like that drives me nuts, where it's like, if it is this thing that was so specific to them personally, and they went through this journey themselves, then how come they can't make a better space for it to happen the next? Like, build off of that. Like, oh, it was hard for you to not have that attraction until you were 19, and you had all this pressure or whatever, like, as like, you know, not to you, to your mom, you know, it's like, well, then why are you going to just do that to the next person? Like, don't put that exact same weight onto your own kid. Be like, hey, if it happens, it happens. If not, cool. Like, it just drives me crazy, because it's like, how hard is it to not make it?
Trauma, yummy.
Yeah, no, how hard was it to just be like, yeah, okay. And it did eventually evolve into that. Eventually, when she came to terms with the fact that I was ace, it eventually became like, I just don't want you to close yourself off to something you could potentially enjoy. Yes, good. And if you do eventually experience it, you do. If you don't, that's fine too. And I was like, thank you. But it's still, yeah, she turned around, but it still became an ongoing conversation. Every time I mentioned anything about it, she'd just turn around and turn it into this whole conversation about my asexuality. And she's like, be quiet. I want to have this same conversation every single time I say the word ace. Calm down.
Can I just say,
and like, if your parental behavior makes your kid go, I want to tell you less, you're doing something wrong. Like, that's just it. Like,
yep.
There's also a part of me like this, that the mom could have maybe even taken some retrospective if, like, she realized there was a lot of connections between her experiences and your experiences. Like, there's a lot of retrospection to be like had there, that is like, maybe like mom could be like kid, and like there's a lot of performative shit that you kind of internalize to be like, oh, I need to be like sexually active and do all this stuff, when maybe you don't want to, and you don't have to. You do not have to, and you maybe don't want to. I mean, not to make any assumptions about your mom, but there could be some to be had.
Oh, I could assume plenty about my mum, especially in terms of sexuality like that. It's just like, maybe you were demisexual. Maybe you still are to an extent demisexual. It's just not something you had the words for back then, and it's just not something that would be nice. It's just not something that would be talked about. It's just not something you tell your kid, especially when your kid comes out as straight up asexual, no attraction whatsoever. It's just like, She drives me insane, but no. Waba, you keep being interrupted. If you would
Yeah,
like to
sorry.
continue.
No, it's okay. This isn't my show.
Still, say your piece. Come on.
No, I was gonna say, just as like someone who hasn't talked to their parents in a long time and has like been consistently pretty goddamn disrespectful, honestly, to my parents because of their shit and constantly called them on their shit. People with parents like this, I don't know if you want to call them narcissists or just abusive parents, emotionally abusive parents. I like the word narcissist, but you know, we deal with way too fucking much, and I'm just like, every time I see or hear a story in my chat, someone tells me about, I'm just like, why don't you just fucking just deck them? Just deck them. Just fucking punch them in the face. What's the worst that's gonna happen? They'll kick you out of the home. Great. We'll give you a new home. Like, it sucks. It sucks that people are so fucking reliant on housing and just like having that parent in their life. And I'm like, as soon as you can, fucking just leave, never come back. And like most of the people say like, yeah, and this is why I'm never gonna come back home, and yeah, this is why I'm never gonna talk to my mom again. I'm like, okay, as long as you know that and you understand that you're in survival mode right now and you're just doing to do what you do, so there's like as little conflict as possible. I get it, but it's frustrating, and I'm like,
You shouldn't have to grow up that way. You shouldn't have to
no, you
live
shouldn't.
in fucking survival mode. Like, and
You
that's
shouldn't,
so fucked up. It's so
Right.
fucked up for so many kids. And
Oh God.
I mean,
Yeah.
I do think that, yeah, we used to like in like the 1900s there was like, I don't know, so many like less gender norms in so many ways because of like how things evolved post World War II and to advertising, and like there's such a big like history there, you know? And so like maybe it wasn't accepted in the way that it's starting to be now, but there was also more freedom where it was just like, yeah, dudes wear dresses sometimes. Like kids, they all wear the same clothes till like age 8 or whatever because it's cheaper. Like, I don't know. Like there's so many like little things like that we used to be better about. But I think that we kind of like dipped back into this like really repressive space for gender and sexuality, and it's now like our generation is being like, yeah, like I'm going to forge a place for myself because we deserve to fucking exist and like have representation and like be accepted just for fucking existing because everybody else is like. And so I mean it sucks to have to be those people that are like, hey, can we just have a little bit of space to be alive, please? Maybe just, would that be okay? And having to be the people that put your foot down and are like, okay, well, I'm here, so deal with it. And it like, it's so important that we do that, but then at the same time it's like, yeah, that emotionally is awful. Like, can we not be the people that do this? Can we just hand that off a couple more generations?
I mean, that's literally what happens, though, is that it just gets passed to the next generation because we never process our trauma, or the trauma never gets like resolved. You know, fucking your grandparents are gonna die and never say sorry, and even if you get an apology, even if I ever got an apology from my own mom, I would not forgive her. She hasn't learned, and even if she did learn, I would still want to forgive her. You know,
You don't have to.
and I don't have to, exactly, and I don't have to. I think the most unrealistic part about fucking Encanto is that Abuela actually apologizes. And I'm like, this is already like, wrap it up. Kind
And
of
I think
movie.
the important thing is that she shouldn't apologize to get your acceptance.
Which is exactly what it would be for.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Because that's exactly how she's
Like,
apologized.
this is for
before.
you. Like, this is for your, like, you should be happy with yourself that you fucked up this many times. Like, you did this. Like, this doesn't have to do with me. Like, do it better on your own. Like, I don't need to be a part of that. Like, you can be like, I'm sorry that I feel sorry. I regret the way that I've treated you. Sure. But like, I'm not here to be the validator of like, okay, you're good now. Like, no.
Here's the other thing.
Not how it works.
Because I'm gonna relate this, because last week we spoke a lot about trans issues. You know, not just growing up, but also as an adult. and how you need to be your own advocate, and you basically become your own endo doctor, effectively, endocrinologist, because, you know, doctors get that shit wrong too, and you have to fucking be your own advocate about that stuff. So, you know, let's say you're also trans and growing up in a household, so, you know, I'm just saying it's a fuck shit stack of, you have to institutionally become your own advocate in 17 different roles in your own life and grow up way fucking fast, and all the gay and trans kids and gender non-conforming and sexual orientation not conforming just get fucked, and that's why we grew up, and that's why we grow up so fast. That's why we're so mature and burnt out, you know, special kids in the advanced classes who, you know, they could really do better if they just tried a little bit harder. It just all intersects, the ADHDers and the autistics.
Well, and I mean, I think, like, you know, not wanting to answer questions from your parents about, like, oh, so is it like this? Like, which one of you is the guy? Like, all that bullshit, right? Like, you do so much of that education for yourself, for the other people in your life, your family, and like the people that you're close to. Those are supposed to be like that one safe space that you're just like, I'm just fucking accepted. Like, can you go read about this yourself first, maybe? Like, and it's like,
Google
you don't
is your
want to have
friend.
to continually do that education in one more space where it's just like, I don't even get to like,
you're
I would
constantly
just love to.
educating others, you know.
Right.
And it's like the same shit with, like, you know, every single black person is seen as all of a sudden like the fucking historian on black issues, you know. And it's like, no, they don't fucking need to do that, and I shouldn't have to do that either. I educate people, I think, here, but I also don't have to fucking tolerate bigots. And I think a lot of people get that twisted when they're like, oh, well, this is Waba, it's a safe space for everyone. I'm like, yeah, but if you're a bigot, I'm not here to fucking educate you. There's plenty of resources online. Fuck off. I'm protecting my community, you know? Like,
No, we don't have to.
yeah, we don't talk about Bruno, I think, is also, you know, it's funny. I think about that song now, and I think about it also in the context of, like, you know, maybe Bruno's just like the gay brother that no one talks about as well, you know? So it's the family secret. No one fucking talks about the family secret. Oh, you're sorry. You're talking about the movie. So, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. She does apologize to Mirabelle. That is the literature. Come back to me. Rising drama, critical point, and then falling drama, whatever it's called. The climax. Yeah, the climax of the movie is Abuela explains to Mirabelle in the fucking river pool that, like, hey. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I haven't read Encanto yet, watched Encanto yet, but so.
Okay.
I haven't,
like,
but
spoilers!
I'm fucking scared. I'm like, I'm gonna cry. Like, I already know it's gonna
Somewhat
be.
spoilers,
I'm gonna
but basically, Abuelo explains where the generational trauma came from. Hint.
I know it's about generational trauma, and I know that we don't talk about Bruno. And apparently, David has been listening to the soundtrack this entire past week or two, and I have not noticed, or at least known that it was Encanto.
Where we watched it, but yeah.
Yeah, I meant to join, but I think it was like you guys were already like an hour and a half into the movie when I saw that you guys were watching it.
So she explains where the generational trauma came from. Spoiler: the whole movie is actually secretly a historical documentary. And yeah, and then she's like, so that's why. And then Mirabelle's like, oh my god, holy shit. So, like, you're her too. And then Abuela's just like, hey, I'm sorry. Like, I fucked up and I passed all this trauma on to you. Like, with less words, and then everything's great. Which is unrealistic, but you know. Sorry, so I was talking about my own actual mother. I didn't realize you're talking about the fucking movie. I read Bruno as ND myself. ND?
Neurodivergent.
Yeah, definitely. Also, the people that are lying the most, and we don't talk about Bruno, sing the loudest. Something I noticed. something Frankie noticed that I'm pretending that I noticed. There we go. That's more accurate.
No, it's something Frankie heard on TikTok and mentioned to you.
Oh.
Yeah, so I've somehow listened to the whole
Frankie.
Encanto soundtrack without knowing I've listened to the whole Encanto soundtrack.
Was it because it was on TikTok?
Yeah, and it's also
That's
a
why-
thing.
No,
Well,
because
that
David's been
Linux.
blasting it
Oh,
in the
yeah.
computer next to me whenever I'm like playing Paladins with him. And I'm just like, I did not know that this was Encanto.
Oh, Mirabelle is also, I think, fucking canonically bisexual because she has a bisexual rainbow on her fucking dress. So.
That's how we signify by pride, bisexual
Yep.
colors.
And her sister's a stone
Or it
lesbian.
could just be that you really need a wish right now. God, I'm sorry.
Wish right now. Wish right now.
They're just.
I'm so,
Oh,
sorry.
no.
I'm so sorry.
I think the funniest thing that, I don't know why, but whenever I see like LGBT flag colors, my automatic assumption
Oh.
is like, oh, that is to represent such and such identity. And I just remember one time seeing a person who had a black, white, gray, and purple striped sweater. And I was like, oh my god, I love your sweater. Like, you know, the way that you like, wink, wink, I know you ace. Like, hi, be my friend. And the person like looked me up and I was like, thanks. And just like walked. I was like, oh, never mind. This is not. It was like, you're very enthusiastically in love with my sweater. Okay. I was like,
Mistake made.
Except,
sorry,
here's the other
bye.
thing- I'm sorry, I'm gonna go off on this. The other thing about fucking Bruno, it's so dumb. He didn't even tell them, like, stuff they didn't want to hear. He just fucking was an observant person. Like, he wasn't fucking really telling fortunes. Like, fucking the guy was like, oh my god, he told me I'd grow a gut. And it's like, yeah, that's generally what you fucking do when you get older and you're eating the way you're eating. You're gonna grow a gut. And yeah, you're gonna fucking go bald. And, my sister looks stressed. I'm just gonna fucking joke around with her and say, haha, looks like rain. And it's like, alright, well, she fucking blows up and has no emotional regulation skills. And, everything is drama. Sorry. But he was like that before, so as well. Sorry.
Sorry.
No, on Mirabelle Mirabelle has a bi flag. Oh, but I get it. She has patches for everyone in the family? Really?
Yeah, she does. I saw that explained.
Yeah, literally, that's how it is, though. The observant family member gets ostracized for noticing all the problems. Yep.
Yep.
Because it's like, oh, you weren't supposed to say that. No, no, no. No, no, no. Shush, shush. Also, hello, Chaotic Rambler. You're completely new to me.
Hi, chaotic. That's a
Hold
friendo.
on. Raid from the Galactic Pumpkin Patch. Gourd Speed Rebels. That SN30 Meow Iron IR. Meow Alert. I have no idea where you came from before. You came from someone, Raid. And you have 2 other messages, but I love you already, so. You're falling Panda Moon. There he is. Welcome in. Mama sure. Oh yeah, Ori's on Mental Health Monday next week.
Nice.
Yeah, we have... Oh, that was you. Oh yeah, that's no Moon. Yes. Yes. That makes sense. That'd be the fucking emote thing. Yeah, that was like... I mean, I can tell exactly when it was. It was 10:23. Thank you for the raid. Thanks for the raid 3 months ago. Hey, thanks so much for the raid, Moon. Let's get a shout.
Me shouting out my streamer friends. I'm like, oh my god, you raided me like 2 months ago. Thank you so much. Thank you for following me 6 months ago
Seriously.
because my follow notifications suck.
Stream elements did fuck up. We have Ori and Celiance on next week. Oh, and perhaps one more person, but they need to fucking respond to my Twitter DM, and I'm going to, like, at them on Twitter right now.
Call them out, Waba.
I'm not. I feel bad.
Tell Joe Rogan to go get
No, they're so nice!
I'm just kidding. I'm I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's not even funny.
No, we just have
A little
Joe
bit.
Rogan in a cage that we just stick him on people,
Yeah.
and we're like, we need Joe Rogan on
get him.
this stat.
Go get him.
Go get him, boy. Get him.
If he really could, you know what? If we could make him do that, he would have use. I would find him acceptable.
Acceptable contribution to society. Yeah.
I'm intolerant of everyone except for Joe Rogan. I'm tolerant of everyone except for Joe Rogan. Until he becomes our attack dog.
Just as flowers for Issa, dumbbells for Luisa, a tiger, and toucan for Antonio. I didn't even notice this shit. Damn. The rainbow and cloud for Pekpa. Music for Dolores, a chameleon for Camilla, and a candle for Alma. Wow. Blue's biggest trait was ignoring the problems that need to be addressed and just acting like they didn't exist and everything is perfect. Yep. It's extremely common for the past generations that have passed their own traumas aside to get through life. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Someone said online that Joe Rogan was the dark mirror of Hank Green. Who the fuck is Hank Green?
Science.
Green.
Science. Father.
He's a YouTuber.
Oh, this guy. Yeah.
Didn't he? Was it Hank Green or John Green that wrote *Fault in Our Stars* and all those books?
That's John Green.
That's
Oh,
John
this is
Green.
funny.
John Green's brother.
It would be a
Basically-
very different book if Hank Green. wrote
This is hilarious. He actually has my name, but backwards. Oops, just doxed myself. It's fine. Half my chat knows my name.
Love you, Moon.
Take care. Have a good night, Moon. See you next time.
Nirgana.
This is great. Point of address being so different is representing that she doesn't fit in with everyone in the family gift otherwise, but she tries hard nonetheless. Yeah, she tries to fit in, but she doesn't because she has no gift. Sad. I wish she got a gift. I wish the whole fucking town got a gift. I hate the ending. Anyway, how's it going?
Good. Just my usual sleep schedule. I have to wake up at like 3 a.m. So my brain is just like, it's nighttime now,
Do you
and
have
I'm
to
like,
wake up at
no,
3
it's
a.m.
not.
tomorrow?
I do not work tomorrow. No.
Okay.
I made sure to get. That's why I asked in advance of like when we doing this because I took tomorrow off.
Huh.
I actually have the next 2 days off, which is nice. So, but
I'm just
Nor-
thinking there's things I kind of want to say, but I'm not sure when it's appropriate. That's all.
Say it right now.
Oh, right now. Oh, no. No, I wasn't talking now.
You want me to say something really stupid first?
Yeah, say it. Go ahead. It's
Yeah.
going on YouTube, unless you don't want to.
Well, now there's pressure.
it'll be on the internet forever. Just so you know.
Here.
No,
This
no
is-
pressure.
this is
I mean,
Sheldon
no one will
Shrimp.
see it. It's fine.
This
I mean,
is
okay.
I
I have, like,
don't-
10
now-
people
now
watch
I
my
don't have
videos.
anything dumb to say.
But it's okay. By the end of the year, like 1,000 people will watch it. So, you know, I
Yeah.
always pretend I'm like in front of 1,000 people right now.
That makes it really easy.
I don't care.
Honestly,
Fucking
I
embarrass
think
myself
I
on
think
national
having
Twitch.tv.
more people watching just makes me give less of a fuck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so nice because it's like, all right, I feel pretty anonymous, even though no, I'm not, and I'm sharing my
It's
life
like-
with like a bunch of strangers on the internet. But hey, at least if it's helping someone, then I keep doing this. That's how it works.
Sitting in front of like 5 close friends, my brain is like, ah. But then
Mhm.
sitting in front of like 2,000 like non-friends, people, complete strangers, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm an open book. Here's all my trauma.
Yeah, big mood. I do that all the time as well. It's like I'll never tell my mum or my dad certain things, but on Twitter, out to the void, everywhere. Anyone publicly can see it. I actually had a problem with that with my mum. Oh dear, I've woke my dad up. Oh no, wasn't supposed to do that. Sorry.
This is my dad. You're talking about actually. I think.
No, he just got up. I just heard him go to the bathroom. It's like, I'm being too
you
loud.
woke him up. I thought you
I
said
woke-
brought him up. I'm like,
No, I woke my dad up. I woke my dad up, and I shouldn't have. I was not supposed to. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, I had a problem with that with my mum. I had my mum blocked on Twitter because what I put on Twitter was not stuff I wanted my mum to see. And she was like, well, why don't you want me to see this, but you broadcast it out to everybody? And I was like, because it's not the same. And she couldn't get her head around it. She was like, what do you mean it's not the same? I'm your mother. And I'm like, no, but it's not the same. Because at that time, again, I was still questioning, and I was out as ace on Twitter, and LGBT and all that, and my mum didn't know. And it's like, well, it's not something I want you to know. And the last time you scrolled through Twitter, you found one of my tweets, and it said, it was a really old tweet back when Brexit was happening, the first vote, and it was like, well, if you don't know which way to vote in the Brexit vote today, know that Bastille, the band I really like, are voting for Remain, and if that's all that you need for it, then there you go. And my mum was like, since when are you so political? And that's when I knee-jerk was like, I gotta block my mum on Twitter, because I can't have her seeing that kind of shit anymore, because she'll question it and ask me about it, and I was like, I don't want to. So I blocked her on Twitter, and she found out I blocked her on Twitter when I was away from home as well. I wasn't home, and she was supposed to be picking me up later that night. And it was a whole thing, and it was blown way out of proportion, and I was just like, well, if you're gonna react, and I thought to myself, well, if you're gonna react like this is why I don't want you to see my Twitter. All I did was block you. And she was just
people that react the most negatively to boundaries are the ones that make it that you need to have them. It's all.
They're the ones who need boundaries established to keep them from crossing them, and then they'll perpetually cross them, to which then it's like, you are clearly not a healthy person to be in my life.
Yeah, and respect to my mum, she's changed a lot since then, but it's still like, some things just still sit heavily in my mind. It's like, oh, she reacted like this when she found out I blocked her on Twitter. So like when I started Twitch and she started coming to my streams, and then she was causing problems at my streams because of one thing and another, and she was talking about family stuff in a public place, and I was like, we can't talk about this here. You can text me, we can talk about it privately, don't want to talk about this publicly, and things like that. And it's just like, I kept telling my fella, like, dude, I really want to ban her, but if I do, I'm going to get it in the neck. But if I don't, I'm going to keep having this problem. So I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. And my fella's just like, well, just ban her, because my fella doesn't like my mum very much. That's a whole other story, but I think he's justified to not like her very much, to be fair. And it's just like, it got to a point where I was like, I literally cannot stream, because I'm having problems with my family, and they're gonna bring it up in my Twitch chat where it's a public place. Not everyone needs to know. Not everyone needs to know our public drama, our private drama in public. That's not what I stream for. I'm here to draw and sing music and sing along to the songs I'm listening to. I'm not here for anything else. I'm just here to have fun. I don't want to talk about family drama or trauma or whatever. You can do that elsewhere. And especially if you're going to be dropping names as well and shit like that, it's just like, do you know nothing about internet safety? There are some things you just don't broadcast to the world. And the fact that my mum was having problems with her boyfriend or with the family or shit like that, is just like, you shouldn't be talking about this here. You shouldn't be talking about this here.
Have you since blocked her?
No, I haven't, because I told her, look, you can't talk about this shit here, and she goes, okay, and she hasn't brought anything up like that since. And
it seems like you're like really good about like actually expressing your boundaries, which is fucking awesome.
I was gonna
I guess
I was gonna give a suggestion I've seen some people have who have family problems in their own streams. I remember, I think this was another Mental Health Monday this was brought up as well. But you can ban them, and if you can ban your mom, and if she asks you about it, say, "Oh, sorry, one of my mods must have thought you were a troll or something. I'll have them unban you because I can't do it myself since I didn't ban you," and then just never unban her. She
That's
doesn't know how
beautiful.
Twitch works,
That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
that's
and she
what
doesn't
one
get
of-
notice of who banned her. She just knows someone. Just be like, "Oh, I have a moderator," and they probably thought you were like something. They probably didn't realize who you were. I'm so sorry. And then
Fairy
just like,
bot keeps banning you. I think you must have gotten on a bot list. Like, I don't know what's
yeah, I don't know what's going on. Twitch must,
Yeah.
Twitch has been banning a lot of accounts at random lately. I think that's what's going on. I'm sorry, Mom. You might need to make a new Twitch account. Oops, banned for having multiple accounts. Ban evasion.
Yeah, I would have, but things
Just a
have.
pro tip. Just a little bit of
Oh, yeah,
advice
yeah,
that
yeah,
you
no, just
definitely don't need to take. And that it's not actually advice. It's just me airing out some like
Well, yeah, that's something to
for
keep in
legal
mind.
reasons.
Yeah, just in case something else goes wrong. I know my mum my mum and my sister both are already banned in my fella's stream. Twice over for my sister because she made a fake account and was done for ban evasion. And I was just like, why would you even do that? Why? What was even the point? But it's fine. Yeah, my mum and my sister don't like my fella very much, and that's again a whole other story. But my stepdad is actually the worst with it at the minute because I can't even say my fella's name in front of my stepdad without him going, nope, not talking about that. Nope, shut up. I'm just like,
Oh my god.
I'm just thinking to myself, well, he and I are actually on good terms now. Like me and my fella are actually on good terms right now. Back when I would talk about my fella a lot, we weren't on good terms. Things were not great, and but that has now since been resolved, and it's like, well, he's a huge part of my life now. If I'm gonna be in your vicinity, I have to be able to mention his name. I have to be able to talk about him, because what else am I doing with my life at this current point in time? I don't work. COVID has me stuck in the house. I can't go anywhere. The only thing I do often is spend time with my fella. So all my catch up with Absol stories are gonna include my fella and what we've been up to. And my stepdad's always like, no, don't mention that name here. I'm just like, oh boy, if I had the courage, I would fucking slap you. Just let me talk about what I want to talk about. Maybe if you sat and listened, you'd actually understand that, we're not actually at each other's throats anymore. We're actually in a good place. But no, he doesn't want to hear it at all, and it's really fucking irritating. So I haven't spoken to my stepdad since my last birthday, my 21st. He just said happy birthday, and I said thanks, and that's it. I haven't spoken to him since. Because, like, what's the fucking point? I can't speak to him.
Right.
There's nothing to be said. It's annoying. I'm airing out my dirty laundry as well. Just
It's
getting it
alright,
out
they're
there.
probably not gonna see it.
Oh, no, they're
I
not.
think that it's just reminding me of like when I was no contact with my mom, but I was like trying to figure out a way that I could like still have her in my life. That like it was more for me where I was like, oh, I don't want to cut my mom off. Like I don't think I can do that. Like that's not allowed, right? And so
God, I
I was
feel this.
trying to like sandbox that relationship where it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna like make, different levels of security on my Facebook, and like some posts she'll see, so she won't like know that I blocked her from most of the stuff. Like she'll still see some of it, so she'll like think that I'm on Facebook or like whatever. Or like, oh, I won't, I can't talk about these things with her. Like with my dad, like if I ever brought my dad up around her, she'd go on this like long ass tirade, and I'm like, I was just saying like, what we did when I talked to him, like this is not like a time for you to go on like a complain fest, and so that stuff is so hard, and I think it's so much, it's not happier when you're like, I finally made the decision to pull the cord. Like we're not talking to you anymore because I can't. If you can't be yourself around somebody and like exist, like without having to control the situation so it's not like painful and they're not attacking you or they're not like giving you shit over just like, yeah, this is a person that's in my life, like that's really fucking toxic, you know. And it's like, how am I supposed to, like, I have to be someone else to interact with them, like I have to control it so much just to have that interaction or to exist around them. And I mean, it's like, it's really hard when it's like somebody that is in a relationship with like someone you're related to, right? Like you're like, oh, I want to
Yeah.
talk to my mom and I have to talk to you then. So I'm gonna try and like shape this in a way where I can like
It's a
somehow have
lot
these
of
conversations.
Yeah, it's a lot of mental gymnastics, and especially for an autistic person who has to mask all the time when they speak anyway. It's just like, I cannot be bothered anymore. I left college and school so I didn't have to mask anymore, and I still have to mask in certain situations. It's like, oh, why you make me do this? I'm lucky in the fact that my mum and her boyfriend do not live together, so when I speak to my mum, I'm not necessarily straight speaking to her boyfriend instantly, but she also does rally information that I give her back to him. So in September, my fella hurt his eye and he had a scare in that he thought he was going to lose his eye, and that was hell. That was a hell of a stressful time for both me and him, because it's like, well, what the fuck are you going to do if you have to lose your eye? You have to have your eye taken out because it's full of cancer. And it was a really stressful time. And one of the days we were going through it, I called my mum and told my mum all about it, and I was like, yeah, this is what is happening. And I assume, because of the way the grapevine works, I assume my stepdad eventually found out about that and how that went down. I don't actually know for sure, because again, I haven't spoken to my stepdad. I haven't spoken to him. So I didn't even speak to him over Christmas, because my mum and my sister had COVID over Christmas, so I couldn't go and see them. So I therefore couldn't go and see my stepdad and my step-siblings. So I just didn't, and I haven't spoken to them at all. And it's just like, it's kind of freeing almost to not have to engage with that and to not have to talk about that. Just like, yeah, because I don't want to. I don't necessarily want him to know everything. Just because I told my mum what was going on doesn't mean that he also needs to know. I just wanted to tell my mum because, again, my fella is an important part of my life. And if something that big was going to happen to him at that point in time, it didn't, thank God. He's still got his eye and everything's fine. But, it was just something I just had to tell my mum, because I already told my dad I live with my dad. So he already knew. But my mum needed to know, and my sister also needed to know, just in case the worst happened and I needed support from my family, because that would be big. It wouldn't be fun. Yeah, but I don't know whether certain things did get passed on to my stepdad. I don't know. And I don't really care to know, to be honest. If he's gonna be like that and shut me up every time I mention my fella's name, I don't really want to speak to him at all, because it's just horrible. I don't have the time of day for you right now. Get your head out your ass and actually listen to what I'm saying, or I'm just gonna not speak to you. I don't deal with bullshit anymore.
Yeah.
I really don't.
It's like such a blessing and a curse once you start putting your foot down about that stuff, especially like when you kind of, if you're autistic and you kind of go through that thing where you're like, I'm going to try and start unmasking, or like if you are like, I'm going to come out, like whatever it is, like when you go through that transition and you're like, you start to lose the ability to like fake it around people, and it's good because you're like, yeah, this is like authentic. And I'm not like, compulsively caving to a situation because I'm feeling pressure from it or whatever. But it's also like your patience in those situations. Like you don't have the patience that you used to have.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel
That's
that.
another thing my mum and my sister picked up on, especially. My patience is a lot shorter than it used to be because I've started to unmask, and they've picked up on that, and they're like, why are you like this? And I'm like, because I'm autistic. And they go, no, but you never used to be like that before. And I'm like, yeah, because I didn't know I was autistic. Do you see where I'm going with this? No? Okay, let me spell it out for you. I've been masking my whole life. Some of the things I did before I got my diagnosis were not healthy for me personally, and it didn't do my brain any good. So now, around my family especially, I'm doing things differently to make myself more comfortable in my own space, in my own home. And it just caused me to end up, you know what, fuck this, I'm moving out. I'm gonna go live with dad. Because dad doesn't give me this shit. If I say something slightly, slightly bluntly, my dad doesn't like get upset about it. He often laughs and then asks me like, you mean more like this? And like, yeah, I mean more like that, but I said it like this. And like, yeah, I'm pretty sure my dad's autistic too, mind you, but different, again, different kettle of fish. So when I try and have conversations, especially with my sister as well, oh god, pardon me, because I talk to her over online and things, and she takes something I say either in the wrong way, or I say something bluntly and she gets offended, and it's just like, just. And when she asks why I said that, I say, because autism, and she goes, well, that's not an excuse. I'm like, no, it's not an excuse, but it's an explanation of why I said that. I'm not meaning to use it as an excuse. I'm explaining that I said this and I think like this because I'm autistic. You've got to get your head around this, otherwise we're never going to make any progress, and we're just going to be stuck in this constant always at each other's throats thing, because we're not communicating in the same way anymore. And that's partially my fault, but also like, I shouldn't have to mask around my family. And that is partially why I spend a lot of time with my fella, because I don't have to mask around him. I can say whatever and he will also get it, because he's ADHD and we overlap in so many ways. So it's like, there it is. There's nothing else about it. It just is. It just is. We just are the way we are, and that's how we like it. And the fact that my mum and my sister don't get it, it's just like, well, and you don't get it, and that's why I don't live under your roof anymore. And I don't have to be subjected to these standards anymore.
I think Chaotic said something really important regarding this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use different words, so I'm gonna paraphrase them because I think they make another interesting point unintentionally, which is just just kind of flip it on your head, because you're trying to say this in a positive way, like people who know you for a while should try to meet you in the middle with like understanding, okay, you're masking and now you're not masking and this is still you. But yeah, there's that point where they're just projecting on you, and especially when it comes to family, they're used to you basically acting a certain way, and so all they see is the behavior, and they don't care about anything else. So when you start not masking anymore, they're like, oh, well, what happened to the, the nice old Absol that we all know and love? Where's my precious little girl? Blech.
Girl, blah, for a start. Because,
I'm sorry about that, but like,
yeah, I know that's how my mum says it as well. And my mum also does still misgender me like that. And I'm just like, oh, God, why?
I think the best way is like, you're masking because you're uncomfortable. You're doing it to get through. Right. And so your family is used to your discomfort and not used to you being your authentic, comfortable self. Yep. And I think that speaks volumes when they're just like, I'm uncomfortable with you being comfortable.
Well, and I mean, there's like, when you take that one step further, I think that, we all have these wounds from an early age where you're like, I'm going to do the thing that I feel like doing. And someone's like, no.
Yes.
And so it's like this perpetual fucking trauma machine of like, oh, well, I'm supposed to correct you because you're being too free and we're not allowed to do that. And I'm not allowed to do that. So I need to make sure that you don't, like it's this thing that just gets fucking passed around. And it's like, there's it's got to be a Tumblr post that I've seen like a screenshot of go around a bunch that it's like, when we talk about autistic acceptance, we also have to talk about just like weird people acceptance, like we have to have this level of like, you're allowed to just exist. I mean, like, obviously there's a line where it's like, are you harming people or, other people, like you can't exist in a vacuum. You have to be conscious of the people around you. But it's like, you can't demand that autistic people or, I mean, and like, there's so many things here that are like really deep parallels for like LGBT issues. And that's where I kind of think that like Audi gender sort of comes through where it's like, there's so many things where it's like, when you come out or whatever, where it's like you can't make people identify for you to accept them. So it's like you can't demand that somebody is like, I'm non-binary, so you need to treat me this way. Just fucking treat people correctly, like just
like
have general acceptance for everybody and don't like fucking judge people up front, like
yep. That's why I asked him, like, just come be a person with me. Something you said way earlier, like hours ago, Pan, resonated with me. I just wanted to bring it up again. I'm sorry. Is it okay to call you Pan?
Yeah, you can call me Pan.
All right. I just switched between Pan and Faye, and I don't know.
So do I.
No, because you were saying about, God, it was hours ago, but it was something about being autistic and there's just a lot going on. It's just a lot going on in general of being gay and everything else, and I feel this is like why I always over-explain myself about shit, why I have like 10 million different panels of information about the stream and the community, because it's just like, ultimately I do just want people to just be able to vibe, but I feel like there's just so much there and that people just don't get that I feel like I have to like lay out and explain, like, this is how to vibe. It's called Don't Judge and Ask Weird Questions. Like, ugh, I don't know.
And
anyway,
on touching on like the weird, like accepting weird people, like not just accepting autistic people, but also accepting weird people. It kind of touches on like the thing that like really fucks me up about like ableist shit is that like if you just make things accessible and easier for neurodivergent people and easier for disabled people, like you're gonna end up making it so much easier for people who are able-bodied and neurotypical as well. Like there's already studies done where like neurotypical people in a neurodivergent teaching class where like the class is catered to people who have autism or ADHD and other like other stuff like that. It's like the people who are neurotypical perform better than they would in like a traditional classroom, because the class is catered not only to like these people, but like it focuses on like, hey, like let's pause and catch up, everyone on the same page, and like most classes don't do that. And regarding like just accepting weird people, it's like accept people for who they are, for how they present themselves, and like don't be a gatekeeping douchebag, and you're gonna end up finding out that a lot of people like just like are chill. Like if you don't accept people and you don't let people just exist as the way they are, then yeah, a lot more problems happen than when you try to restrict and restrain and put everyone in categories and boxes and tell someone how they have to live their fucking life. That's when you end up with problems.
Of how your mom was like, you're an ally, and it's like when you give people that space, when you don't gatekeep that shit, and you let people identify in their own time and space, you find out like, oh, actually, like maybe they have more to their identity. And like that becomes the space that allows people to have that freedom. And like, I mean, I'm sure like if you've been on Tumblr at all, this will like make you fucking groan, but like the ace phobia gatekeeping and like
that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, you're dating us. You're dating us, Pan.
See, I actually one thing of where I actually had to set a boundary where I informed a friend that I had blocked them on Tumblr. And they were confused by it at first, but I had to explain to them because they were not acephobic. But they were part of asexual discourse in that they constantly went to combat against acephobic people to support the fact that asexual people existed. And they kind of did it because they knew that I was ace. They also themselves at the time identified it as an ace identity. And I was like, thank you so much for, like, fighting the good fight, because that's how it was, like, being in, like, 2015 Tumblr. Like, it was literally, like, every single day you're gonna have, even if you just have, like, ace colors, or you just say that your pronouns are they, them, or, like, use neopronouns, or just, like, show that you're not lesbian, gay, or binary trans. Like, you're gonna have people in your DMs if you have anonymous on, which I turned anonymous off because that deterred most of them. But, like, you would just get bombarded with messages being like, you are faking it, you don't exist, you're trying to get attention, you're stealing resources, and it was just like,
Stealing resources fucking kills me.
And I'm like,
What resources?
am I stealing by just...
Could you tell me what resources I'm stealing and give me the phone number and the website, please? I would appreciate that.
I'd like to return the resources. I'm sorry. But, like, it was literally, like, my one friend, I was just like, I'm so sorry, but, like, you are constantly going to bat with these people, and it's high-key triggering to see people, like, just constantly telling me, like, I don't exist, and, like, trying to give valid points, and, like, claiming that, like, I'm, like, some problem to the community just for being myself. And, like, I'm not hurting. I wasn't, like, vocal about who I was. I just existed, and my friend was vocal about it, and so they fought against people who did that. And I was like, I love you. I appreciate you. I thank you for what you're saying on Tumblr, but I have to block you because I can't see the posts you're reblogging anymore.
Yeah.
And they were like, totally understood. Discourse isn't for everyone. I was like, yeah. Because they were like, they deal with a whole slew of other issues. Like, besides that, I don't think they're on Tumblr anymore. And from what I've seen, they avoid discourse now, thank God. Because it really it's debilitating on your mental health as well.
Yeah.
Trying to fight for the concept that you are allowed to be yourself.
Right.
With 100 or some odd people screaming at you that no, you are wrong and you're bad for being yourself. How dare you?
I think it's almost hilarious the way that those gatekeepers were like, ace people aren't oppressed. Watch me oppress them. And it's like,
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're saying that they're oppressed, but I think that you are oppressing them now at this point with this level of, like, fucking viciousness. Like,
That's what I mean.
Like,
I was just
sit
like,
down, you know, like it was, you know, ridiculous.
No, ace exclusionism it literally destroyed the ace community as we know it from, like, it still does, it still happens, I still see it on Twitter and that. It's just like, it just forces so many people back in the closet.
I started seeing stuff like that on TikTok, and then, like, because I saw someone who was posting, like, TikTok LGBT discourse, and I was just like, why is TikTok becoming the new Tumblr? Can we not?
I mean, that's always
chaotic.
where I was heading,
Yes,
though.
that's super important.
Can we not make TikTok the new Tumblr? Please.
I feel like that's where it's heading, but I have seen a lot more, like, actually, like, pretty pro-educational TikToks than I have seen the negative ones.
Thank God. Thank God that that's sort of turned around, because for a hot minute, it was literally being like, you're not allowed to have neopronouns. Like, that's not a thing. And I was like, how about no?
How about I have all of the pronouns
All
instead?
the pronouns are mine, and I'm not sharing.
Every time that you complain about my pronouns, I pick up another one.
Yeah,
exactly. Every
oh my
time
God,
you complain about how many genders there are, we make a new one.
The one TikTok I saw that
Just
made
make
me
a
really
gender
laugh
replaceable
that I
one.
love to quote
Everyone
is like, wait, bro, you got pronouns? Oh, wow. My nouns wanted to go pro, but they broke their ACL during tryouts. Now they're stuck in the minor leagues and live in a van down by the river.
Gender. That's my gender right there. That is
Yes.
specifically my gender.
Am I
Or an
now one?
ACL
And it's like
van
a
down the
dude
river,
bro
that is
saying
me.
it. So it's just he's just like, my nuns wanted to go pro, but they broke their ACL during
Like,
tryouts.
bro.
I got
Great.
that unexpectedly on my For You page, and I was like, I love this person. I don't know how they identify. I don't know who they are, and I love them. Just
get
for
it.
that. Just
They
for that
get it.
joke.
For that.
My nouns
Just for the
wanted
post.
to go pro.
I'm so mad for you, Chaotic. Also, welcome in, Miss Melanie Champagne. How's it going? Welcome in, Mel. Talk
Ori,
Place,
I
Queer Safe
mug
Space. Yeah, Maury does mug people for gender, that's true.
I love that.
We are
Stop
the
and give me
gender
your gender.
snatchers.
Gender snatchers.
I
Yeah,
think
all the
so,
gender is
like,
mine now.
kind of what you're saying about like needing to block like discourse from
Mhm.
mental space. I think that it wasn't so much like LGBT discourse, but it was sort of I mean, I think actually around 2015, like those between 2015 and Panorama, there was kind of this wave of like hate reblogging of like,
Mhm.
look at
Mhm.
how bad this, like, look how wrong this is. And we were like giving a platform to people that we hate, because not hate, but like people that are like very fucking wrong. And you're like, look how wrong they are. And I think that when I got into TikTok, because their algorithm is so good, it shows you what you're interacting with. And when your entire feed becomes stuff that like pisses you off, you're like, wait, I'm gonna have an existential crisis here. Like, and so I think that it was like, people that were I'm not
Yeah.
people that were probably at the Capitol on January 6th that I was like seeing in my feed, and I was like, I need to not even watch this to be like, wow, they're so wrong. It's like it's such a hard balance of being like, I am going to do responsible activism and figure out like what people are saying so that I can like
I hate to talk about this kind of stuff because I know you've probably blocked it from your feeds. But did you know there's people actually who are like, oh, it never happened.
Oh yeah, no. I
Oh,
know
yeah.
that.
And I'm like, do you also believe the
Waba,
Holocaust never happened?
know where I work.
I feel like it's a straight line here.
Oh yeah, the correlation is just straight up, completely same people. It never happened. There were news reports. It was all over everything for the whole week afterwards. It happened. Bet your ass it did. I swear to God, if you try to tell me otherwise, I will punch you in the nose. Thank you.
Thanks for the follow, Miss Melanie.
please come here and punch them all.
I will.
Oh,
I will.
where
Bring my fella too,
Send me
and just
an
we'll
address. Let's go. Brass knuckles.
where I work, it's just like a whole bunch of people who fly very, very interestingly patterned flags, and it's just like, you're not even from the area where that flag came from. Why are you?
It's for the culture, the heritage.
Yeah,
what
because
heritage?
we support
It's
Southern
because they're
pride, and I'm like,
racist.
you are in upstate New York, my friends.
Literally.
Oh.
You grew up, born and raised. You lived 40 miles away from a tractor, and you call yourself a redneck. And that's not even what rednecks are. But okay, my friend. Like,
All right. Okay,
It's
then.
just because they're racist. The Confederate flag is the racist pride flag confirmed.
It's the racist pride
Yep.
flag.
but
Yeah.
so yeah, that's what I no.
You know what
I
really
don't
gets
like
people
talking about
off
words.
of it are like the people with have like the what is like the black and white, the black stripe on the American flag, shit.
It's the blue
It's
stripe.
technically illegal.
Blue
You're
stripe?
technically
Yeah.
not
You deface the
allowed.
flag.
Right. I know my flag code.
I know my
Because
flag
okay,
code.
there was like a big
Well-
thing for a while where like
I
I
just tell
want to say
people
like
it's-
Sarah Palin was like really
Oh,
obsessed
yeah.
with like flag
That sounds
Duff.
about right.
generally, and like so and they used to call it like flag burning issues. Like there was things about like the legality of burning American flags that they would use to like detract from like other stuff, and so it was like flag burning issues. But like I don't know, it was so if you were political back then, you learned all the
I
flag
don't know.
codes,
It
and
looks
I'm like,
black to me.
all you little army wannabe bros. Like you're disrespecting the flag. That's my flag.
I think that
It's red,
the
white, and blue. This many stripes. You do not change the. Don't change it. I
I have seen that it's like well, unfortunately the blue stripe on the flag is like a genuine thing. Like they also have like a green stripe and like a red stripe. I think the red is for like firefighters and green is for like emergency like ambulances or whatever.
I just found it. It's
But,
a
like-
thin blue line on a black and white American flag. That's why I think it's a black line.
Yeah.
'Cause
But
it's
then
black.
there's
Okay,
also the
that
black and
one
white
looks a
flag with like a
lot
green
like a
stripe
leather
and then one
flag.
with a red stripe.
The what flag?
And like you can have all
The leather
three on the
pride
flag
flag?
together, and it's supposed to be in support of like emergency crew. But the thing is that the blue line flag got like taken by what would you guess it?
This one?
White supremacists, and they
course
were
it
just
did.
like, "Hey, we really love police officers. I wonder why. Oh, let's take off the police cap and find a white hood." Like it's literally like
Oh yeah.
like it's basically just like brain. Sorry, I'm braining.
It's okay.
And I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, like it's the same person, and it used to genuinely be like, oh yeah, you just support police officers, but like that flag is now recognized as like a white nationalist symbol.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like, oh, blue lives matter. I'm like, oh,
There-
did your
I
baby
do
come out the
know-
womb
I've-
fucking shooting
I've only
black
ever
people
met
as a
one
cop or some shit?
person-
Like, what the fuck?
I've only ever met one person that I can authentically say
Please tell me you're
they
laughing at me.
they genuinely use the flag, the Blue Lives Matter flag, not because they actually don't support Blue Lives Matter. It's just that their brother's a cop. They're
So
just
there
like, no,
used to be a
Blue
thing-
Lives Matter is like not a thing. They support like Black Lives Matter and they support all that stuff, but they have that flag specifically because they just are like, well, my brother's a cop and like I just wear it for like advocacy for my brother, but like I don't believe in Blue Lives Matter.
No, fuck
Like
your
I
brother.
support like all
But-
this other stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, but that flag, it's kind of like they
It's a
don't
wolf, it's a
want
dog
her standpoint is she doesn't want white nationalists to be taking that flag and being like it's a bad meaning, but I'm like,
It is.
It's already done.
also
Right,
like
yeah.
look at the history
It's
of
been done.
police officers, my friend, and like realize that maybe this is not a flag you want to be trying to take back from white nationalists when it was white nationalists to begin with.
Just
So there was a
Exactly.
thing that we used to all do. There used to be. I don't think it really works anymore. There's like the Fraternal
Foresight
Order
technically
of
works.
Police has like
Mhm.
a sticker
Mhm.
that you get and you put it on your car.
Yep.
And so then if you get pulled over, they're like, "Oh, who are you related?" And you're like, "Officer John," and like you don't get a ticket. And so like
no.
that was a thing for a while. And
Oh,
now
that's
I'm
still a
like, well,
thing.
you can't. Well, yeah, but if you do it, then people are like, "You're a fucking racist," because that's what that also means. Like, the
You know,
transition between those two things
one of my
is
that's why
really
you
coworkers
make it a
found that out.
magnet.
One of my coworkers found that out the hard way because my job offers like a discount to police officers, and my one coworker like was kind of becoming buddy with the cops because he was like the cashier or whatever, and they're like, "Yo, you're a cool guy," and he would just chat with them, and they're like, "Here, you can put this sticker on your car, and the next time someone pulls you over, they'll know that like you were like friends with us or whatever, and they won't ticket you." He was like, "Okay, cool," so he started wearing it, and then people were like, "What is wrong with you?" He's like, "What?" And they explained that to him, and he was like, "Fuck!" And he got a razor out and scraped it off his fucking car. He's like, "Nope, nope." And yeah, this was like within like the past 2 years, like
Yeah.
and like those cops still come through my job, and I can't do anything because like I gotta serve. But it's like, yikes.
Did anyone else
Yikes.
think that ACAB meant assigned cop at birth?
I literally, when I first saw it, I was like, what gender is this?
Hold on.
Same.
Can I just get a clean audio of me saying this because I think it's funny.
Yeah.
What the fuck is Blue Lives Matter? Did your baby come out straight out the pussy shooting black men down in the street? What the fuck? All right, there we go. That's the clip.
Signed cop at birth.
That's the clip. It's very funny.
Yes, very funny.
No, it's kind of fucking awful, actually. It's really
It is
fucking
awful.
awful.
It is.
Oh yeah,
shit.
but like that's the point. You're
the
laughing
fucking
at
point.
the fact that it's awful. You're laughing at this
It's
is so
funny
awful.
'cause
That would
it's
never
true.
happen. It's
Never
funny because it's true. Yeah, that's
It's funny because we live in a fucking flaming garbage
Yep.
heap can. I don't fucking dumpster. We live in a
Yeah.
dumpster fire. We
You
live in a
can't. My father
perpetual
born with a
dumpster
full
fire.
mustache and a badge. Yep.
even in the UK we still have
All the
problems
racism.
like that.
I just gotta grab a water bottle real quick from my partner.
Okay. Go water yourself.
It's in there in the hole. I
Chaotic.
guess he's gonna drink caffeine instead. I was gonna like suggest water, but
My husband's job is a state
Return
job.
with
Apparently,
the
the cops
full
let them get off everything. They just have to show their job ID. Yeah, exactly. There's so much fucking like in-grouping, buddy, brotherhood, you know, masculinity, woo-woo, rah-rah shit with cop shit. Like shit. When I fucking worked as AP for Walmart for a little bit, for like one summer, right before I got into my master's program. The fucking sheriff was making like all sorts of like really sexist and rude ass remarks. I reported him.
Good.
Dumbass.
Good.
They're
yeah.
just like, yeah, he was sexually harassing people. I like overheard a conversation. So dumb.
Yeah, I just remember that one sticker incident. Thankfully, they've not caused problems. I also live in honestly, if there was a Bible Belt in upstate New York, it would be in the town that I work at. It's
Sorry,
literally okay. No, when I say that like there is a church in every cul-de-sac, I mean there is a church in every cul-de-sac. Like
Is it
they
real
build,
Italian American?
they build like new like gated community circle like circular like streets, and then put a church right in the middle of it, and it's in every single one. Like I drive down this one street that goes straight through the entire town, and there's at least 9 churches that I pass, and they're all like private churches for that neighborhood, not for like open to the public. No, for that neighborhood of like 10 people.
What is the point?
When I say it's weird. Like gated communities and cul-de-sacs already freak me out. You put a church in there and I'm like, what is
Bad.
happening in this town?
That's some bad voodoo. That is bad
Mhm.
juju. No.
And let alone there's already documentaries about this town having cults and stuff. I'm just like
there's-
legitimately, like
there's even
I'm
more
not
stuff
using
than
that term incorrectly. Like there's legitimately a documentary of like a cult, like known, recognized cult in this town, and I'm just like,
There's like
Yeah.
church conferences, and like actually this kind of goes back to some of the abstinence only education stuff. There's these church conferences that are part of like political lobbies, and they're like a straight up corporate organization, but they like are tax free because like America. And they hand down, it's like how they do with like local news. They hand down talking points. They hand out to their congregation, like, this is what you're going to say. Like, oh, God says do this. And so they say that. And it's like, yeah, maybe some people do have like be Christian. I don't, fine. I don't agree, but do it, whatever, fine. But like, there's definitely that I just take whatever's said during the Sunday sermon as like what I'm supposed to do because it's God's will and blah blah blah. And like the church that I grew up in, like literally it was freshman year and the pastor was like, George Bush is God's warrior, and I was like, excuse me, I think that's illegal. I don't think you're allowed to say that. Like, I was like, I don't think that you can say that 9/11 is God's will. Like, I'm sorry. And that was like one of the things that like, I mean, I was very like, excuse me, I have a question. This seems contradictory in every Sunday school that they were like, please stop. But like, that was one of the things that like hit me over the head is like, this is like bad, And so when I see stuff like, oh, they put a church in like literally every cul-de-sac, like that's community control. That's like teaching these like, oh, we want people to be controlled in these ways. Like, I mean, it's not just accident. And it's like, it sounds so right. Yeah. And it sounds like conspiracy, but it's not like it really isn't. Like, that stuff, like, literally happens, that they're like, oh, preach this and this and this, and then they have
Yep.
politicians say that stuff, and it's all...
Oh, God.
God, I hate this country.
Same.
Whatever
Um,
happened to separation from church and state that you
Well, only
built
when
your
it benefits
It's never
country on?
existed. It's never fucking existed. Prove to me
No,
that
so
separation
see,
of church and state has existed at any point.
separation of church and state only exists when the church is not Christian.
And there it is.
Christian normativity, that's the thing I learned in
Oh
college.
God, yeah, no, it so is though, especially
It's also
here in
like
the
how
UK.
our And I don't chew on that note.
Oh,
Sorry. My cat started chewing on a garbage bag. Because
Oh,
he is a
dear.
rat and chews on plastic for no fucking reason. No.
Where are the rats?
But
he
yeah.
just wants
well-
to eat the plastic.
They're
So,
their
oh
best
my
to it.
god.
Yeah,
Right then.
Waba, if you want, I can explain sundown towns, but it's
You typed it in chat.
yeah. I just it's like a Jim Crow
I mean,
thing
it's about
thing that
as
stayed
what I
from Jim
expected.
Crow.
Yeah. Also checking in. How are you all doing self-care wise? Do you need an eat? Do you need a drink? I mean, it's almost time.
I'm
I
getting
think-
to that time.
Yeah.
I think David might be making me ramen. I asked him to a while ago, and he was just like, "I have a
We literally
headache."
had an evangelist say it was okay to pray for people to be punished or die as long as you add if it be at your will. Yeah. Here's my will right here.
Here.
Fucking.
I kind of need the bathroom, but if we're gonna be finishing up soon,
Oh.
I could probably
I-
hold it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to wrap up
Kids.
here.
We're
so
kind of
it's
just
okay if
polita
y'all-
ranting, so like, I mean, I don't think it's. I will forever too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I did write stories down last week because
So-
the conversation last week got my memory jogging, and I wrote things down that I wanted to talk about this week while I was on. So,
I have a question.
Yeah.
what?
Mental Health Monday with Professor Lycan or Mori with Dark Souls?
Well, for the raid,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm probably honestly just gonna go and talk to my fella after this because
fair.
he's bored. He needs somebody to speak to.
I mean, you
His
could have
internet is
spoken in
down.
here.
His
Chaotic,
internet's
I
down
did not
and-
know that. Seattle was.
Oh yeah, it's almost like a lot of places are, and they
Asians were banned.
yeah,
Oh my fucking god.
it's
So, sorry.
Every day I lose a little bit more faith in humanity. Like, there are things that
I
like
just
bring it
have-
back up a little bit, but like, oh man.
I just have constantly no faith in humanity at all, ever, at any given point. I just, no, none, zero. Zero.
I'm it's very sad. It's I think the most disgusting thing, but also not something I should be proud of, but like it means that I've learned enough to just not be fucking surprised when there's like racist history behind
Yeah.
something, or like when it's like, oh no, this is a really fucked up thing that the United States did. I'm like, I'm not
I'm like,
surprised.
of course it is.
Not surprised at all.
Like, there's so
yeah.
much that like our history classes refused to teach us because it showed us as bad character that like I'm just like,
'Cause the
I
US
know
is a
that
bad
it was
character.
all propaganda. So when I learned something that's kind of anti-propaganda, I'm like, I'm not surprised that like that was the thing. And then when my
Like, I'm
parents,
not
when my
surprised, but
parents like
floor
bless their
dropped out
hearts,
more,
they'll just
that
be like,
bar.
"Oh my god, did you know that like this thing happened in America?" And I was
Oh
like,
my god.
"Yes, I did know." And they're like, "Well, why are you not surprised?" I'm like, "Because why would I be surprised? It's America.
This
Yeah.
is America.
Same thing for here
It's
in
the
Britain.
United States." I don't even like calling it America because that's kind of like clumping the whole entire United States into Mexico, Canada, and South America and Central America. When it's like, we are the United States, and we decided that we are special, so we get the title of 2 entire continents that we're barely involved in.
Same sort of thing here in Britain, though.
We're polluting them.
There's a
probably.
lot of history here. There's so much.
Yeah.
history here that's awful and fucked up, and when I find new stuff out, I'm like, yeah, that tracks, because the sun never sets on the British Empire, apparently.
Mhm.
So it all tracks. It's just like, yeah, find this out. It's like, are you not disappointed? I'm like, I have been British for 21 years of my life. At this point, yes, I'm disappointed, but I'm also not surprised.
Well, we learned from you guys, so like, what?
Exactly.
what
So
do
like,
you
what does
expect
that
us to do?
say? Exactly. It's all passed down again. Generational
I learned it
trauma.
from you, Dad.
At midnight so that he's distracted from chewing on plastic.
Oh no.
Don't mind the cat, just like
Kitty.
I have a question. Is it in bad taste to go rate the person that I want on Mental Health Monday next week?
No.
No.
Okay, great. We're gonna go rate them.
Yeah, go ahead.
I never did get to tell those stories. The ones I worked down specifically for today. Good job.
Dang it.
It's
Okay.
fine.
Final words on gender sexuality. And then I'm gonna play the outro.
Everything's fake, so just live the way you fucking want.
Yep.
Yeah, nothing's real. It's all made up anyway.
We're all just holograms, according to my AP physics teacher. We're all just
I think,
holograms of our own illusions and imaginations. So just like do whatever you fucking want. No one should give a shit. People will, and
Yep.
guess what?
Yeah, live your
They're
life.
all fake anyway. So don't give a.
It's fine,
Yeah.
bro. I think it doesn't. One of the biggest misconceptions is feeling like you have to like get to a goal where you're like, I know what it is now, and that's like it's fake. That's a lie. Do whatever you want when it like you can be gay tomorrow. It doesn't like you
Be
can.
gay if you want to.
Yeah, like
You
it.
can
There's
be
no
trans if you want to.
expiration date on figuring out your shit, and there's not like some like special place that you get to where you're like, my own ID. Like it doesn't matter. Just call yourself queer and call it a day. Like or don't. Like do whatever you like. It's a journey that you go on, and you figure stuff out, and you take what resonates and leave what doesn't, and fucking have fun. Be safe. Make good decisions. That's it.
Yep.
When it comes to like, oh, you're just making things up now. You're making up new sexualities, making up new genders. Yeah, all words are made up. Dumb
All
fuck.
words are made up.
Everything is made up. So just do whatever the fuck you
Sociology's
want.
made up.
Exactly.
I could
Every
still be
single thing is made up.
Heterosexuality and cisgender are made up.
It's all.
Transphobia is also
it's
root
all-
of racism.
Sex is made up. Fuck it.
Everything that we know as humans is made up. So the next time you complain about somebody coining a new gender or a new sexuality, just know that it's going to happen again despite your complaints. And nobody, not even you and your complaining, will stop it from happening, because that's just how fucking language works. That's just how we move on and evolve. It doesn't. Just leave people alone. As long as they're not being harmful, just leave them the fuck alone. They're not here to hurt
Mind your
you.
business.
They're not here to hurt you. They're just trying to express themselves in a way that's comfortable. That's it.
Yep.
That's all I have to say. Good night, everybody.
Okay. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good
Lovely
night.
guests.
It is
for
late here.
guesting.
It's like 4. It's not nearly 5 a.m.
I
So
know.
good night.
Good night. Go see.
Good night.
Well.
Good night,
See
everybody.
y'all later.
Happy
Thank
time
you.
zone to you.
Happy time zone. I'm gonna play the
Happy
outro.
time
Don't
zone.
panic, and then I'm gonna give shout outs to these 3 folks. I don't know if GloryBax has clips, but we're gonna find out.
Oh, I do have clips, and I don't know which one's gonna play.
Oh, God.
This is gonna be a
Alright.
good roulette game here.
Say bye to YouTube. Bye, YouTube.
Bye, YouTube. You're beautiful.
Bye, you.
Monday. We're gonna try that one more time. Sorry, YouTube. Thank you so much for watching Mental Health Monday. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to give the video a like, put a comment down below, and share it with a friend. If you want to catch it live, feel free to follow us on Twitch. The link is in the description below. As always, mental health is an open and ongoing discussion, so feel free to say hello, and then, come talk with us about mental health. I love the topic, always talk about it. It's a chill atmosphere, it's a safe space. Sometimes we get a little chaos and chaotic, but it's still a safe space all the same. If you also enjoyed the guests and what they had to say, you can check out their content as well. I put their Twitch links in the description below. As for the rest of my socials, they're also down there: Twitter, Instagram, and the Discord if you want to join. As always, take care of yourself, do some self-care today, and be well. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.